wearing, diamond ring wearing, kiss stealing, wheeling dealing, limousine riding, jet flying, son of a gun, and I'm having a hard time holding these alligators.
You're talking to the Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing, kiss stealing, wheeling dealing, limo jet flying. We Rick flaring on us, flaring on us. We Rick flaring on us. You talking to the Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing, kiss stealing, wheeling dealing, limo jet flying. We Rick flaring on us, flaring on us. Check, we Rick flaring on us, flaring on us. It's apparent these girls staring. I'm Rick flaring, gold across my chest. I'm fresh to death, I'm Paul Bearing, not at all scary. When I open like Betty Wops and find to these circles that's going in like a carry shot. Woo! I'm going in like a Mary Pop off that Mary Crop at the top flow at the Marriott. So questioning me is like questioning you. See, we the best dressed, so come and get blessed with the crew. Not one but two, different ways to slaughter your crew. Committed tat across the chest, I guess she blessed with the truth. People want to see them checks, representation of proof. Living through my elders, trying to resonate to the youth. But ain't nothing to get my flash on. Longevity is heavily embedded in my melanin. Layman terms, I last long. My grind repetitive, I'm smoother than real silk. Lyrical cash cow, who can't cry for spilled milk. We in here. You're talking to the Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing, kiss stealing, wheeling dealing, limo jet flying. We Rick flaring on us, flaring on us. We Rick flaring on us, flaring on us. You talking to the Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing, kiss stealing, wheeling dealing, limo jet flying. We Rick flaring on us, flaring on us. We Rick flaring on us, flaring on us. This ain't no normal situation, this preparation with greatness. Industry full of fakeness, it's really up for the taking. See, life is what happened to you, more so how you take it. Don't get stripped of your knowledge and mentally leave you naked. I like to live otherwise. I'm sorry that I'm fresh to death. I put the polo and apologize. See, black son, we ain't nothing like the mother guys. Quit to socialize, we organize, then we mobilize. Off the deep end like a scuba diver. And no confusion, just keep it pushing like Uber drivers. Business fresh just like a supervisor in a Gucci visor. Can't find a smoother rhymer. You're talking to the Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing, kiss stealing, wheeling dealing, limo jet flying. We Rick flaring on us, flaring on us. We Rick flaring on us. You talking to the Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing, kiss stealing, wheeling dealing, limo jet flying. We Rick flaring on us, flaring on us. We Rick flaring on us, flaring on us.
DQ, baby. Shout out that boy Nigga for that fire track. Hey, Black Sun, sun up. What's up, Vinny Vegas? What in Vegas? Yeah. Shout out Pharaoh's Kids. D-Phase. Yeah. Bubba C. Yeah. Rick flaring on him. Rick flaring on him. Rick flaring on him. Rick flaring, sun up, baby.
Hey, yo, Scotty, you going crazy for this one. We see what you're doing, we salute you. Hey, let's get it started. It's Backpack Capital One. What's in your wallet? Got a call from my man A. Scott. I said I got it. Love that you highlighting all of these black colleges. Try to pay me for doing this. Look, bruh, if you don't get off my line with that foolishness, voice of the swag, pull up where you at. No cap. If the Brody is speaking the soft facts. My advice, tune in to every show. Captain Petty, but we know that the sergeants are with the smoke. Speculate, just tell me what is we doing. Get into it, okay, look, I'ma say this and keep it moving. My boy Scotty, man, he offered the least. Black grad, paying college, I'm glad that he called me. Walk it, cause we all been taught that talk is cheap. Even primetime knows Scott for the HBCU streets.
What is going on, everybody? It's your boy Scotty. You already know what it is. He's back with another one. Happy Tuesday! Listen, we in here. Another day, another dollar. Listen, let me just go ahead and say I apologize My stream got cut off early last night on Monday. Every IT thing in me was just like bugging. I'm like, yo, what is going on right now? Like, talking about I can't get to the gateway. I'm like, so I had to set the stream down. So come to find out, right? So I'm resetting my modem. I didn't restart my computer. I'm doing all type of stuff, right? So I go upstairs, and upstairs in my kids' room, AT&T has this module, right, that it used for the internet. So I go upstairs just to check it. I'm like, it's nothing. It shouldn't be nothing with this module. I go up there and check it. My kids done built a fort right beside it, right? And I'm like, let me go check this. And it's unplugged. It is unplugged. And I'm like, yo, why y'all unplug the thing? And they're like, I had to plug up my lamp for my fort. I said, get out of here. So they got this fort built, and they're talking about, I couldn't get my lamp in, so I unplugged your thing, and I plugged up my lamp. Yo, I couldn't do nothing but laugh. I couldn't do nothing but bust out laughing. So that's what happened. That's exactly what happened. It just boom. That's they said that. My daughter said, I walked in the room. I said, who unplugged this? My daughter says, because in the house, our policy is honesty is the best policy. So you don't get in trouble if you tell the truth, right? So my daughter's like, I did. And I'm like, yo, why did you unplug my junk? She's like, where was I going to plug my lamp at? I had to plug my lamp up for my fort. I said, man, what is we doing? So that is why the stream was cut back. So Monday, we'll bring it back. We'll do it all over again. Well, not all over again, but we'll break down the SWAC and do what it is. So all I could do was laugh. Shout out to my daughter. Shout out to my son. And my son was quick. She did it. He be quick. She did it. Oh yeah, so that's what happened, man. That's exactly what happened. So listen, we gonna get right into it. Behind the numbers, we're breaking down the OBC and the battle between Sykes and Kendra. Like it's so why is there so much black on black crime in the world? Why is there so much black on black crime in the world? Now I did have a clip that I was gonna play for Mr. Campbell. Mr. Campbell. That's my guy. So I gave him the heads up and say, hey, I'm going to use your clip. And he's going to be on a conference call. So I was like, it's not fair to use his clip. He can't really, explain himself. So I'm not going to use his clip. He'll probably, some other time later in the week, he'll probably call back in to talk about this. But we're going to get right into it. All right, we're going to get right into it. So it is what it is. Hey, man, listen, them forts back in the day, hey, they was serious. That's the only reason why I ain't tripped, because when I used to go to my grandma's house, I used to build forts all the time. Me and my cousin used to build forts all the time. I'm talking about we'll use like every single chair, stool, whatever possible to build the fort. So I was a fort kid. So it pricked me in my heart. I said, I get it. I understand. That was me. I get it. So that is what it is. So let's get into it, right? Now, just a few questions. These are just questions that I got to ask. You know what I'm saying? It's just a few questions that I got. Who has the best interest of the schools at heart? That's number one, of the school, right? Who do you trust and who is right? Who's is right? Okay, because there's just so many different levels to this, and to me, I'm just like, something's got to make sense, right? And my mama, as you can see from Deborah Scott University, my mama used to always say, if it don't make sense, it's a lie. That's what she was from Deborah Scott University. I'm telling you, she would say that to me all the time. If it don't make sense, it's a lie. You know what I'm saying? So something about this situation is not making sense to me. So somebody got to be lying. Okay? Somebody got to be lying. So let's go a little deeper, right? Let's go a little deeper. Now, this is what the OBC offers, right? And when listen, I got this from a board member, a part of the Orange Blossom Classic. Okay? This is what the OBC offers you. It gives you a fee. So the $450,000 or whatever, it's all cost paid. I'm going to say that again. I know a lot of HBCU classics don't get down like that, right? It is all cost paid, plus there's an honorarium. I hate that word. When I tell you I hate that word, I really do. Because I heard they give that to preachers to come preach at other churches. Key told me that. I said, that don't make no sense. Why would I pay you to come to my church to preach the word of God for free? That's a whole nother discussion. I will go down a rabbit hole. Don't make no sense to me. But anywho, right? So they also give you an honorarium. So these are all the parts of a contract with the OBC. So like I said, the fee, FAMU's fee, $450K with an increase every year, right? Very simple. Nothing too hard about that. All costs paid for your team and band. I'm going to say that again. All costs paid for your team, your football team, and your band. That is food covered, travel covered, hotel covered. It is all covered by the OBC, right? Once again, a lot of classics do not entail that, right? Because I know when, if I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong, could be, when the Southern Heritage Classic, you were driving up, you had to house yourself, you were paying for the gas to take your team and the band up there, right? And then you had to do everything you had to do and still come back. So you were paying for that. So yeah, he might be paying you $300K, but if you're using $100K just to get back to Jackson or get a hotel or whatever, are you really winning? Are you really winning? So that's a question in itself. All right. It is what it is. It is what it is. So when I'm getting to this is I want to make sure everybody understands what the OBC offers a team. Now, is that the best thing for every team? That's in itself. That's all variable, right? That's all. Is it right for this team? Is it right for that team? Is it right for this team? Is it right for it all depends on what you make at your home game. That is what people are failing to realize. Your home game is an investment. That's why people love them, right? Hey, I want a home game, right? Because I make money from the home game. Unless you're Grambling, who be giving away home games like they're nothing, like they're Cracker Jack boxes. You know what I'm saying? Oh, I don't need mine. You want it? I don't need mine. You want it? Unless you're Grambling, right? And you just do a homecoming in another game. That's it. You make money from your home game. Yes, you make money from season ticket holders. Yes, you make money from boosters. But what a lot of y'all Bamas do not understand is that you make money from the home game. You make money from the ticket sales. But in HBCU world, there's so many comp tickets that you lose money. And I've talked to an AD, a SID from Alabama State, right? He's back now. But I've talked to him before, and he told me straight up, and he said it on Twitter Spaces, you will be amazed of how much money walks out the door because of comp tickets. I'm a booster. I should get this. I'm this. I should get that. I'm the head of this, so I should get that. Where are my tickets? Where are my tickets? Why can't you pay them like everybody else? Why can't you buy them like everybody else? But that's neither here nor there. So that's a whole nother conversation in the comp ticket realm of HBCU, right? So now, once again, band honorarium is $20,000. Now, mind you, I want to be very clear because what you're not about to do is disrespect Kendra and act like that $20K don't matter, because I know for a fact that the Honda Battle of the Bands was paying them the same or less. So don't come on here talking to scoff at 20K like, oh, 20K, only 20K. No. Don't do that. I knew it was coming. Don't do that. That's not how that works, right? Because the Battle of the Bands, the Honda, they were getting 15 to 20K as well. And they make twice as much on the event than what she makes. So let's not do that. Okay? Let's not do that. And remember, the band for Battle of the Bands, this part I'm not 100%, I don't know. Right? I won't say like it's either here or there. But I would not be surprised if the bands had to pay for their travel to the Honda Battle of the Bands. Okay? I'm going to just keep it a buck with you. I'm not, listen, I've talked to Kofi, rest in peace. I've talked to Dr. Lori. To move FAMU's band cost $150,000 to $200,000 just to move them. So if you're telling me that you're going up to Atlanta for a Battle of Bands, or if you're going to Houston for the Battle of Bands and you're moving your band and they're only paying you $20,000 when it costs you $100,000 to move, what makes sense to that? How is that mathing? So don't come on here talking about some only 20K when she's paying for you to move your band. I'm going to say that again. She's paying for you to move your band to Miami. That ain't cheap. So on top of her paying, because if it was me, I ain't gonna lie to you, I wouldn't give y'all Bamas nothing. If I'm paying $150,000 to move you Bamas, I'm not giving you $20K on top of that. Hell to the no. I'm not doing that. I would just keep it a buck. So, I would just keep it 100. Kendra better than me, because y'all Bamas wouldn't see a dime from me after me paying for you to take your band across country to come to Miami. Hell to the no. Hell no. To the no. Hell no to the no. Because I ain't doing it. Miss me with that. Miss me with it, right? So, but she does that. $20K on top of paying for the travel. Come on, man. And the hotel for all the clarinet players and all the piccolo players and all the tubas and all that. Man, that ain't cheap. That is not cheap. So our bill probably is racked up to about $300,000. Easy. You're talking about $300,000 easy. Pay for travel, hotel stay, food, and giving you a $20K on a I wish I would. I wish I might. I wish I might give you $20K on top of all that. But to each his own. But see, this is what I'm saying. When you don't know the numbers, you make everybody wants to talk sideways, and they want to throw out these opinions and this and all that. Oh, they don't do this and they don't do that. But what is she putting out? What is she giving up? Like, that's my thing. Like, what are the expenses to move a football team, to pay for a band, to pay for the hotel? And this is why I keep telling y'all, and I'm going to keep saying it to you all. You cannot get mad about what you're getting paid when you don't take the risk to run it. This is my issue with HBCU people. You bitch and moan about, oh, this classic isn't giving us this. Oh, this classic isn't giving us that, right? But you won't take the risk to run it. That's why I'm going to keep saying it until the cows come home. That's why what Alabama A&M is doing is so monumental that it can shift the HBCU landscape. It's because they're taking on the ownership of hosting the whole thing by the institution. They said, this is our classic. We're going to run it, and we're going to get the sponsorships. We're going to do everything we can to make sure this is ran right. So if it is ran right and we make the money we're supposed to make, we'll make 3 times as much as we were supposed to be given. But y'all don't understand that. Y'all keep crying and bitching and moaning and talking about some, we should get this, and we should get that. You should run it your damn self. Because I would say to you all right now, if any of you were put in the position of Kendra, Miss Bullock, I apologize, I don't know her like that. Miss Bullock, right? Miss Bullock. If any of you guys were put in her position, none of you all would think that JSU and Jackson State should get paid more than you when you have to do the risk. You got to get the venue. You got to get the sponsorships. You got to do everything possible. And let's come on, man. You don't even want to give your family members money. Really? Really? If you out there busting your ass, making your money, and your cousin come up to you and say, hey, yo, cuzzo, hey, like, let me hold some. You be like, bro, I'm out here working. I put my blood, sweat, and tears into this. And you just want to come and just, okay, so let's not do that. That's my thing. I do believe that people should get paid their value incongruent to the risk of what that person is taking. I kept saying it for the Southern Heritage Classic. You can't get mad because that's what you negotiated. Even though you wanted to back out of the situation, right? You cannot get mad that you got paid what you got paid. You can't get mad at you. That's what you negotiated. So you get what you negotiate. So at the end of the day, both of these teams are going to get what they negotiated. Now, if it makes sense financially, that's here nor there. But one, you got to negotiate your value. And two, you got to understand the person that's putting on the event has more risk than the people just showing up to play football. It's very simple. It's very simple. You can feel that way. You can feel that way. But it only counts who has more leverage. That is the issue that a lot of you all don't understand. You might be the talent, yes. But do you have more leverage than me? No, you do not. Right? Jackson State has the leverage with Southern Heritage Classic. That's why they can move the way they move, because they can always go back home and make what they were supposed to make, regardless of what you pay them. So I get it. But does FAMU still have the same leverage? Negative. They do not. Now, you might say they do because, we're FAMU. It's in Florida. It's in Miami, blah, blah, blah. I beg to differ. I beg to differ. And if I was Miss Bullock, I'll take the risk of finding 2 new teams than just making it try to bend to your will of renegotiating with you. That's just me. I'll take that risk. Just like FAMU's taking the risk of backing out the game. If I'm Miss Bullock, I'll take the same risk. Right? So it's all, do you have the leverage to go behind it? And I don't believe FAMU does. Right? So it just in my personal opinion, I don't believe they do. But let's keep on moving, right? So let's dive a little deeper into this, right? Because Miss Sykes, right? Miss Sykes says her goal and her focus is to increase the investing in champions package. Now, I know you guys have heard this 50 million times through Saturday, whatever, blah, 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 whatever. Now, mind you, I want to be very clear about what I'm about to say here. The investing in packages is an if. It is a variable. To me, this is my personal opinion, right? There is no concise information to say that if you increase home games, that it will increase the amount of people that buy the investing in champions packages. There is nothing to say that, right? There's nothing to say that, if we get 6 home games, that my investing in packages will go up 10%, 15%. There is no numbers to state that. There's no validity in that, right? Because it's an if. Because you can say that, you can project and hope, right? Because we all know projections are merely hope, right? Merely hope. So if you can hope that you'll get 10% or 5%, I can also then say there is a possibility that there will not be an increase. Right? Just like you can project up, you can project down. Anybody looking to get money is going to project up. Anybody trying to decrease what they give you is going to project down, and somehow you meet in the middle. That's how projections work. All right? I ain't take business one-on-one or nothing like that, but I know that's how projections work. Thank you, Ms. Griffin. It is a theory, right? So her theory is that, and her theory believes is that this: if I increase more home games for Tallahassee or for FAMU, that I will get more people to invest in the championship package. We'll see. That's an if. If is a fifth. But what I do know, what you make for your home games. That's what I do know. That's a fact. And I got it from a very, very close source, right? So let's break this down, shall we? Home game. Now, FAMU grosses about $300K for a regular home game. Now, what I mean by a regular home game, I'm talking about regular schmegular game. I'm talking about Georgia West and Valley and Alabama State, Alabama A&M, all a regular schmegular home game, right? Which the net profit after expenses is between $80K to $100K. Listen, when I tell you, I got these numbers from a very reliable source. I just want to be. I ain't gonna say no names. I ain't gonna point no elbows, but I got it from a very reliable source. All right. Now, my source also told me this for the special games. For a homecoming, right? FAMU grosses $1 million, and their net profit is $700 to $800K. Okay, so when they're playing Southern, Southern doesn't have to, right? Southern doesn't have to be their homecoming. It just be a regular Southern game. If FAMU plays Southern, they'll gross about $1 million, walk away from $700, $800K for that game, right? If FAMU has a regular homecoming, doesn't have to be against PV, it can be against Lynchburg or whatever. They'll make about $1 million, $700 to $800K. So we could, and I'm gonna just make the projection, right? We can make a projection that if they were to play Jackson State at home, they will probably bring in these same amount of numbers because of the rivalry that they currently have, right? So here he is. I'm a champion at investment at $2,500. This is one of the cheapest levels. If she just adds 100, see this? I'm saying, if she just adds, that is, you don't know if she's going to add that many. Even if you say if, you're making my point. There is no statistical data that says she will or she will not. Ms. Sykes, I know you love FAMU. Congratulations on you being a 2,500 package member. But that does not mean she is going to get that. And that does not mean she could not also make that money with having the OBC on the calendar. Because if we really real, FAMU people are so FAMU struck that if you feel you could get 180 people, you could still keep the game for OBC and double your money. So now you're going to cut off your nose to spite your face, and you're going to take away the OBC guaranteed money, right? And then you're going to say, oh, we hope we get that, which is $450,000. Cool, right? But then the other games that you only net 80 to 100K, we're going into a rabbit hole. We're going into a rabbit hole. That's all I'm saying. We're going into a rabbit hole. Either way, let's continue on. So let's do the math. Right? And I made clear, if you can see in the thing below, and this is for you, Ms. Sykes, I made sure that the championship packages are not included in this because that is a whole separate pot of money. I'm just going strictly off of if you had 6 home games, right? At 90K, I split it right down the middle. 5 games, 90K net. This is net profit. Listen to me. This is net profit. You have 450K. Homecoming, probably make about 800K, 750, whatever, right? $1.2 million. Now, if you go 4 regular games, homecoming, and the OBC, that puts you at $1.6 million. Now, if you still wanted to add the 400K from the investment in champions, that pushes you over $2 million in this scenario, and then it puts you at 1.6 in this scenario. So even with keeping the OBC game, you can still make money. Even if you take a game off. And this is not even accounting. This is not even accounting for pay-to-play games. I didn't even account for that, right? So if you go play South Florida, if you go play Miami, if you go play any of those places, right, of what it is, you can still come out on top. My issue is this, right, is that I feel like, this is my opinion, no numbers or whatever. I feel like that you're using the next year's scheduling conflict to make a decision that's going to affect you, that could affect you for the next 2 to 3 years, right? Your next year's scheduling, I believe, I got to make sure I'm right, but I think they play week 0, right? They would have played week 1, so they would have played week 0 in Atlanta. They'd have played week 1 in Miami. I think the first 3 to 4 games are going to be away from FAMU, right? The first 3 or 4 games off the rip would have been away from FAMU. So, but that doesn't mean that's going to be that situation every year. So instead of you, to me, making a knee-jerk reaction and say, hey, we're going to pull out of the OBC because we're not having enough home games, why not just make it to your, why not tell your fans, hey, next year is going to be a rough year, and then come back next year and the year after next with better scheduling, and you go right back into the same mold, and you keep, listen, I do not understand. This is just me. And maybe, like I said, maybe I don't understand. Like, I'm not a math whiz. I don't get it. When you're not making that much money at your home game, why would you not take the $450K guaranteed? That I do not make. That just doesn't make any sense to me. I don't understand how HBCUs can continue to say we are underfunded, low resource institution. We don't have money. And then the guaranteed check of $450K when you're literally getting paid 3 times the amount of what you would make at your home game, you say no to. That to me is not smart. That just is not smart to me. It just is not smart to me. Now, I will say this, and I'm going to be honest. JSU should not be in this game. I got this from a very reliable source, right? JSU should not be doing this game anymore. And I'm going to explain you why. Because if you make net, listen to me. See, this is why FAMU and Jackson State are not in the same boat. JSU makes $800K on a regular home game. For me to, if I'm Jackson State, for me to get up and leave a home game, I need about $2 million. I need about $2.5 million to even wake up and leave the door. To even wake up and get me out of bed, I need to hear something. It really boggles my mind why Jackson State does classics with anybody. I really do not understand. I don't know why they're going to Mobile. I don't know why they was at the Southern Heritage. It don't make sense. Maybe for recruiting or whatever y'all want to say. It don't make sense to me. Because if you're making this type of money at the crib, net, I don't understand it. I don't get it. So when I say that FAMU does not have the same leverage as a Jackson State, I mean they don't even come close to what they make at the crib. If Jackson State was making $300K, you know what I'm saying, and then $600K, I'm like, hey, $150,000, okay, cool. These Bamas is making twice that for home games. What? A home game at Jackson? Listen, you would have to, we be talking numbers. We got to be talking some serious numbers for me to move my home game. But it's not the same. It's not the same for this. It ain't the same. I do not care. I do not care how many people she brings in for the investment of champions. Like you said, Ms. Sykes, that is her job. That's her job, point blank, period. So why would I substitute income when I could just bring both of them in? She can still add 180 people even if she only had 4 to 5 games. If your brand is that big, if your fandom is that big, why am I going to give away money when I can bring in $450,000 and I can also bring in another $450,000? But I thought if it don't make money, it don't make sense at FAMU. You literally have a free game that you do not have to pay any expenses, any travel. Because what Mr. Campbell be complaining about is, we went up to Atlanta and we didn't do this and we weren't making this type of money and we got paid this and we got gypped here, got gypped there. But this ain't making no type of sense. That on your profit and loss statement, you will literally give away $450 to replace it with $450 and say, okay, we're cool. That don't make no sense. That doesn't make any possible sense. And you can't make it make sense. You might want to give excuses for it, but if any of you was at a job, they would simply say, you be like, I don't want to take both $450,000. I'll just only take the one $450 and I'll give this $450 back. We don't need that. I'll just add a couple more home games on the back. Come on, man. Anyway, so let's continue on. All right, let's continue on. Now, I got this from a very reliable source, because once again, a lot of that's a great flip. That is a great flip, Miss Sykes. I gotta give you that one. That's fire. I love the flip. That's a great flip. I love that. That's good. I love that. That's good. Right? That's classic FAMU, right? That's classic FAMU, right? So yeah, real money issues, right? So I talked to a very reliable source from the OBC, right? And they said, Scotty, we only net 400 to 500K. See, but when you get on platforms, right? When you get on platforms and you say, oh my God, they're bringing in 5 million. You don't know that. You don't know that. And let's say, let's play all the devil's advocates, right? Let's say, oh, Scotty, they lowballed you on the net. Let's say they made $1 million. Well, if I made $1 million, how am I going to give you $1 million that I got to pay me too? I took the risk. And to me, I think that's very fair for her to pay herself 400 to 500K when she has all the risk. She has to promote the game. She got to find the sponsors. She got to pay for the stadium. She got to pay for all the security. I don't see what's wrong with that. But then people will say, well, I think we need an extra 200,000. We need an extra 300,000. Go get a sponsorship and do that. Nothing's stopping FAMU to go get their own sponsorship. Nothing's stopping you. You got all this big money. You got Will Packer. You got Common. You got all these people. What's stopping you from getting your own sponsorship and adding an extra $200,000 for a sponsorship? What is stopping you from doing that? Instead of Sykes asking the alum to pay for $2,500 season tickets, why not go to a sponsor and say, hey, why not go to a bank and say, hey, 100,000, I don't know, what Tallahassee Credit Union, I don't know. Say, hey, can we get 100,000? Is there nobody in FAMU that got a business that they can sponsor you? Will Packer don't got a movie he can put you in? How much you get paid from Louis Vuitton? Don't answer that. I know it wasn't much. Because if I'm not mistaken, I think you had to fundraise to go to Louis Vuitton. Louis Vuitton invited you, and I believe you had to fundraise to go to pay for maybe. But what do I know? But what do I know? Okay. Anywho, so let me go here, right? I mean, I'm just saying, it's real funny what don't make money don't make sense. Louis Vuitton did not pay for your travel. Louis Vuitton did not pay for your band to get to Paris. They paid you to perform, but they didn't cover your travel expense. But I heard somebody say that in FAMU, it don't make money, it don't make sense. Now, if I've been invited to perform somewhere, that means you want my presence. Why would I have to fundraise to go? That's different. That's different.
You are the only participant in the conference. All participants are muted.
That's just different to me. That's just different to me. I mean, it is $1 billion corporation, LVMH. I mean, it's not like they don't got it. You know what I'm saying? But maybe, Okay. I don't give a damn if 5 people went. You still had to fundraise to get there. Are we missing that part? I'm confused. It's real funny what you want to hold a standard to and what you won't hold a standard to. So the $1 billion corporation, you didn't make them pay for your travel. But the black lady who graduated from FAMU, whose son goes to FAMU, you're trying to hold her hostage into Wow, this is different. Wow, that's different. That's different to me. My bad. That's my bad. That's different. My bad. So, to each his own. To each his own. So, my thing is this. What's the problem? My thing is, but you're not answering the question, though, Dexter. That's funny to me. Like, you're oh, she didn't go. Oh, she didn't graduate from FAMU. Oh, did you fundraise or not? Answer that question, Dexter Martin. Did you fundraise or not? That's a yes or no question. Take your time when you're answering that in the chat. Anyway, so my thing is, what's the problem here? What's the problem here? Because it feels very ego-ish, right? It feels very ego-ish of somebody feeling like, oh, I'm going to do this without you. And I wouldn't, listen, is anybody wrong in the situation? No. Let me make that very clear. I don't think anybody's wrong in the situation because Ms. Sykes have the right to do what she feels is right. And Ms. Bullock has the right, what she has to do is right. Right? Are there some, do I feel like there's some missteps in this? Absolutely. Do I feel like there's some things that are there some things that could have been done? Absolutely. You know what I'm saying? To make the changes? Absolutely. But is anybody wrong in this situation? I don't think so. And I don't think anybody can be necessarily right as well. Because I think everybody's going to do what they feel is in their own best interest. Now, in my opinion, do I feel that FAMU leaving the OBC, right? Do I feel like FAMU leaving the OBC is in their best benefit? No, I do not. I don't. Not even the least bit. But that's what Ms. Sykes sees, and she thinks that, you know, she believes that she can get 180 or 200, 300 people to invest into the Investing in Champions. And I'll tell you this, if I was Ms. Bullock at the OBC, having FAMU there or not would not stop me one bit. I would put a team in there so fast, it will blow your mind. Because at the end of the day, there are brands, even though it's in Florida, I get it. I get it's in Florida. I get it's in Miami. I get that it's been a staple, right? It's a staple in the community. I get all that. But it wouldn't stop me from having an A1 event and paying teams what their value is, right? Paying a team what their value is. Like let's say if Alabama State came to Miami, right? $450. I don't know what they make for their home game, so I can't tell you if it makes sense for them or not, right? I know UAPB don't make that. I'm not saying they'll bring the eyes. I get it. I'm just saying paying a team's value, right? Let's say she got Andrew Body for his senior year, Texas Southern, to come down into Miami, right? And she mixed it up with Tennessee State or North Carolina A&T or NCCU, like, you're going to get eyes. Like, I don't, you know, people say a lot of times, like, certain fan bases don't travel and this and that and the third. But I do think there is a general interest in HBCU football when it comes to a classic. Because PV got 10 fans, but somehow on the Labor Day Classic, everybody shows up. Right? So it just is something about a classic, and when the name is associated to it, people show up. So I do believe that if she went outside of the FAMU brand and brought teams into the OBC Classic, that it would be just as successful. I really do believe that. And I think that I do think there's a false kind of, because there was Deion associated with it. Yeah, you had the Jackson State brand, but you also had Deion Sanders associated. And I think the OBC played that leverage perfectly, right? Because having Dion for those 2 years and Jackson State in that game allowed them to have leverage. Allow them to have leverage to flip that to ESPN to say, hey, put us on ESPN, right? So I believe they used that leverage and flipped it, unlike the SWAC, but that's a whole nother discussion, right? But I listen, at the end of the day, I do like to take risk. I'm a risk taker, right? And FAMU is taking a risk that they feel they can handle. And I do believe OBC is also going to take a risk of replacing them. So we shall see what that looks like in totality. But hey, listen, those were the numbers of the OBC behind the scenes. Call lines are open 518-263-8124, 518-263-8124. 9894 coming to you.
Hey, good afternoon, Scotty. How are you?
I'm doing fine, sir. How about yourself?
Real good. Scotty, just want to give you one correction because this I know for a fact. Okay? When the band went to Paris for the LV affair, it was a private affair, LV picked up 100% of all expenses. 100%. So that I know for a fact. Number two, now when they went to Paris the first time, it wasn't for LV. They were invited, so they had to raise money, et cetera, for the whole band to go. No different than going to the Rose Bowl or going to the Mason Parade. So they're allowed to different. But on the last one, LV personally invited them and picked up every expense, plane fare, food, everything.
Yeah, and I heard they got bags too. I think they got like some Louis Vuitton bags too as well.
I'm sorry.
I think they got Louis Vuitton bags as well, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, they were gifted really good. Trust me, it was. And again, they didn't take the whole band. They took about, I think, 37 plus some staff. That was part of the negotiation and everything like that. Somewhat of the last minute it came up. So no, they paid for every plane ticket, every meal, everything. They even gave them money and stuff to do a quick processing for passports and stuff like that for some of the band members who didn't have it. So they had to get it done quickly, cost extra expense. They picked up that cost. So I just want to do a good job. I just want to, don't want you to go into a trap. Okay.
No, listen,
number two, Scott, let me say this.
Go ahead.
If I could play Jackson State every other year at my home stadium and make $800,000, would you say that's a better deal than going to the OBC? Every other year, I play Jackson State at my home stadium. I have no expenses for moving the band and all that. Now 1 year, I have Jackson State maybe and Southern and Homecoming the same year.
No, you don't.
And I make
no.
I'm sorry?
You never play JSU and Southern in the same year. That won't happen.
No. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to make it sound that way. I said if 1 year I have Southern, Jackson State, and Homecoming in the same year. Mm-hmm. I didn't say every year or other. It might happen every 4 years. See, I can have Jackson State in my home stadium every other year.
Yeah. Okay. Let me ask you. So let me ask you this.
That's $800,000.
Okay. Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
What is the difference of playing the OBC for 3 years, right? Because one of those, let's say one of those years, you know what I'm saying? Let's say in the 3 years, right? You play JSU one time, you get $800K. But in the 3 years,
no.
Listen.
Listen. I get Jackson State every other year. Every other year.
Okay. Every other year. But listen. Yeah. Look at how I'm breaking it down, right? Let's say the first year that Jackson wouldn't have been there. Listen to me, right? The next year, the middle year, they do come. That's $800K. The next year, they don't. That is called every other year. Am I correct? I just want to make sure we're on the same page.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, good.
Okay. But then for 3 years straight that you play them, you've just made $1.2 million. So tell me, which one make more sense?
Well, here you go, Scotty. And here you go. Listen. So in your scenario, 3 years, we get $450,000, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. In my scenario, we get 2 years at our home place, so we end up getting $900,000, right?
No, you'll get 1.6 because you said $800K.
I was trying to go with the 450, but your point well made. Here's my point. There's more to it. In addition to one reason why you want to get an extra home game, because long term, what you want to do is you want to build your fan base, your alumni base. You want to build your whole overall program continuously without depending on special classics. Here's the other thing. You have a lot of folks who really support FAMU in Tallahassee area. Guess what? They're older. They don't go down and do the Miami thing. They don't. Some of the biggest people who support the program, that 220 Club and all the different clubs, they're typically your well-off alumni, and they kind of support it, and they like, they're 65 and older. They don't drive or fly down to Miami. That ain't their thing. So you want to long-term build that base so you can sustain yourself without classics. You know what I mean?
Why
so
not?
That's a part of the strategy.
Okay, how about this, right?
I'm sorry?
How about this? Could you, and this is strictly hypothetical. I'm really shooting from the hip on this one.
Okay.
Could you have gone to the OBC and said, hey, can we get a new opponent? Because remember, it's really your game, right? So if you went to her and say, hey, can we get a new opponent? Can we get an A&T in here? Can we get a Hampton? Can we get a new opponent? Because then Jackson State is going to fall in your schedule too. So now you're just doubling up your money.
But here's the thing, Scotty. If you get to the point where you're building up your program and where you're averaging 19,000 fans, but you renovate your stadium, you want to get to about 26,000 fans. Well, at some point in time, you have to build your home base so you can be, quote, like Jackson State at home in terms of their home support from the fan base. You want to be as big as the state in terms of having 60,000 people, but you will build your fan base because ultimately everybody want to kind of do what Jackson State is, which is average about 45,000 people at home game, no matter who you play.
You're talking to the wrong person because at the end of the day, Tallahassee in those hotel prices, that's what you need to fix. I don't care what you're talking about. Half the people won't even travel to Tallahassee because the hotel prices are ridiculous. So you're trying to build a home fan base. Hold up. I'll let you talk. Hold up. I let you talk.
Hold up.
I let you talk. Hold up. You're trying to build a home fan base and they gouge you in the hotel prices. That's number one. Then number two, in the same token of that, she is making a whole 2-3 year decision off a bad scheduling in 1 year. That doesn't make any sense to me. But now you can go ahead.
Scotty. Okay, Scotty, a couple of things. Scotty, you know what, Scotty, as the AD and the president, you got to look at things long term. Listen, you know what? Don't you think some people get tired of going to Miami every year? They do. Okay, you can go to the OB Classic after 2 or 3 years, then you can go 4 years. And if you don't go to an OB class, there ain't no skin or water off your back. You know what I mean? It kind of get boring. Do you see the actual attendance at the OBC Classic? Do you? How many were there last year?
I couldn't tell you.
Okay. The stadium was half empty.
It doesn't matter to you.
Okay,
you get paid regardless.
Listen, we can play Jackson State at the OB Classic. We can play them in Atlanta. We can play them in Tallahassee. Okay? The crowd going to come regardless where you play it at.
It doesn't matter about the crowd. It matters about what you get paid. I don't give a damn.
Fine then. You said the best they're getting is $450,000, Scotty. You just said it. The OBC paid them $450,000. There are a lot of opportunities for them to make $450,000 scheduling a game at Tallahassee or somewhere else.
You don't make
that. I'm not trying to minimize $450,000, but guess what? It ain't
outside of the big names. You don't make that. That's what you're not understanding. You do not make that outside of the big names. Do I believe Jackson State can pull you in $600,000 to $700,000? I do. I agree with you, right? But Valley will not. PV will not. West Georgia, them little D2 schools you like to play, they will not. So what are you talking about? You talking about a crowd or whatever? You're not going to sell out those games.
Scotty. It's crazy to think. Listen, you don't think you can go and do a get beat up game somewhere else for $450,000?
Listen, You getting $450,000, if I'm not mistaken, to go play University of Miami. They're not even paying for your expenses. So make that make sense.
Wait, guys, you keep coming with bad numbers. Okay, we ain't never ever paid University of Miami and got less than $450,000. Never happened.
You're playing a FBS school. Listen to me. It might not be UM, but you're playing an FBS school, and they're paying you $450,000, maybe $500,000, and they're not paying for your expenses. Now you can go double check on that.
Well, hey, Scotty, but here's the deal.
And your band.
We don't have to take the band if we go play UM. We don't have to take the band. Who said we got to take them?
You still got to pay for travel.
No.
Is that not an expense? Is that not an expense?
Scotty, listen. I'm telling you what I know to be true. Now, listen, okay? Ohio State had us wanted to come up there with the band and everything and pick up the whole tab because they know the band have value. My point simply is there are a lot of schools, I promise you, that would love to have FAMU and their band and will pay the full luggage for them to come. Okay? Trust me.
It's not.
I can name you 5 Big 10 schools.
Okay.
I can name.
That don't got shit to do with my argument.
Yes, it does. $450,000.
No, it does
Keep
not.
going to the same place year over year. Come on, Scotty.
No, it does not. Because the game that you're about to play in the FBS, they are not picking up your expenses. Go answer that question. Jesus Christ. I don't care that you'll go play Ohio State and they'll pick up the tab. That's not the team you're about to go play. So what are you talking about? Mr. Campbell, coming to you.
Boy, you on a roll today, ain't you, man?
Always.
You got your nice little graphs and stuff, and boy, you rolling today. All right, well, listen. I have to come here and set the record straight because some of your numbers are off, but you sound good saying them. That's one thing. You are talented. So here's the problem with the argument. The discussion was, should we play in Miami? And she said, you know what? We got partnerships that FAMU is dealing with, and we want to increase our value of investing for champions. So here's the thing that you said. You said, hey, man, take the $450,000. I'll take that money. Well, let me tell you one of the things, the number two job thing that an AD is supposed to do is to increase season ticket sales and revenue and partnerships. So you say take the $450,000. Well, you know what, Scott? You sound like that parable. You know, I know you like church and all that, and you know all that, but you sound like Matthew 25 verses 14 through 30. Now, Scott, I know you know what that is, right? You know, that's when the master gave those 3 servants that bag of gold, and one took 5, and one took 3, and one doubled it, one brought, and then one buried it. You would be the one that would bury it. We don't bury no money at FAMU. So here's the math. You said $450,000. Now here's where Florida A&M education comes in. And here's where being at the best business school in the nation comes in.
Yeah, I got you.
You know what a lifetime value of a customer is, Scott? Hold on. Do you know what a lifetime value of a customer is? You know what that is, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So if AD Sykes says, I'm trying to increase investing for champions, and she says, you know what? I'm going to get 4 people at $25,000 just this year. You're doing a projection, most right? People renew the season tickets.
You're doing a projection
over and over again.
I just want to make sure this is a projection. I'm
asking you a question.
No. I'm asking you a question. Is this or is this not a projection? What? Is this or is this not a projection? You're projecting, right? Make that very clear.
Okay, wait. Yeah. And you know what? Every business. Wait a minute.
I just asked you to make it clear.
Hold on. I'm going to let you go. So let me be quiet.
I just said. All I'm asking you is to make it clear that you're doing a projection. Correct. That's all I'm asking.
Absolutely. This is a projection. Because this is her decision is based off a projection. So wait a minute. All businesses make this. Wait a minute.
Go ahead.
Wait a minute.
I just say go ahead.
Every business. Okay. Hold on. You know every business projects what they're going to make next year, right?
Okay. Go ahead.
You do know that, right? You will agree with that, right?
I'm not speaking anymore. It's on you.
Okay. So yes, that's a projection, like every Fortune 500 company does. We project our sales are going to increase by 10% next year. That's what they do. So she said, let me do a quick math equation. I got that Jackson State game. That is a very, very valuable game because our other valuable game, we play down there in Orlando. We never play Bethune. The other valuable game is an every other year game, which is Southern. Nobody else cares about Alabama A&M coming to Tallahassee. They don't. They care about the big dogs. Southern, Jackson State. That's who they care about. And then we got Bethune. So if she can get 4 people at 25,000, that's $100,000, Scotty. If those people were new for 10 years, that's $1 million right there. If she gets 100 people at the 900, well, I just looked, it's 1,000, and that's 100,000 right there. Well, that's $1 million. And you get that over 10 years. So all of a sudden, while you saying $450,000, this woman, over the course of her trying to increase investment for champions, can be anywhere between $2 to $8 million. So why in the world would she sit back and do like you do and bury the gold in the ground instead of trying to increase, like every other business does, the value of investment for champions and get a higher rate of return? Because we're talking about making money. We ain't talking about making people happy. So again, there's no disrespect for the lady that's over the OBC. I'm glad she's a FAMU alumnus. That makes it great because we are in those positions. But don't tell me that FAMU need to accept $450,000 when I just told you the math right there that I can get from a lifetime value of 4 people of $1 million. Now that's the math that's mathing, and that's the math you can't deny. So what you're saying is, oh, Mr. Campbell, we don't know if she's gonna do that. Well, then you know what? We don't need her as an AD because all ADs should be trying to increase season tickets and investment packages. Why do you think my boy Swag Diddy is the man down in Jackson State? Because that's exactly what he did.
I just want to know when you're done.
I'm done.
Okay. So I want to start back from your parable, right? You said one guy buries it, the other guy doubles it, the other guy triples it. Well, for me, I'm trying to double it. I don't know what you're talking about. You're trying to replace. I'm trying to double because at the end of the day,
you can't double it. You keep the same thing. You're not doubling it.
No. Listen, stop. I let you go, right? All I did was ask you a question. Did I not? All I did was ask you a question. I let you go.
No, it's fine. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, I just want to make sure we understand each other. The reason I say the reason I said that I'm doubling it is because I'm not going to give away one and not try to do the other. What you're telling me is that you're giving away money for the hope of bringing in more money. And that's why I wanted to be very clear that I say, is this a projection? You said, yes, it is. Don't all business make projections? You're absolutely right. They do. Does not mean they meet them. Does not mean they stay the status quo. And it does not mean they might not lose anything. My issue with what is going on is that instead of taking both, because just because you don't have the home games that you would like next year does not stop AD Sykes from still gathering 180 people. Now I'm going to ask you a simple question. I want you to answer the question. It's not a yes or no, but I just want you to answer the question.
No problem. No problem.
If you have 4 home games next year, could she or could she not still bring in 180 people regardless if you only have 4 games? That question is for you.
Okay, so here's a yes and a no. I can do that out of good of my heart, but if you're a fan, you know what I would like to see on my schedule? Absolutely, Jackson State coming down there. I would love it if I'm paying $25,000 compared to seeing Fort Valley State. That makes a difference. So absolutely, I want the best games because I'm paying for. So that's anybody. And just like I told you, and I'll use the example of the NBA. What does the NBA do? When the Atlanta Hawks have a season ticket package, you know what they got? They actually have a Lakers package because they know that people want to see the Lakers. That's what they do. So they don't charge everybody the same. The Laker ticket costs more. That Laker package costs more because the Lakers bring value. Jackson State brings value. Southern brings value. So absolutely that makes a difference when you're looking at a season ticket package. Now that you can't deny. So you can tell me that. The NBA does it every day. So don't tell me that they don't. And don't tell me that Jackson State being in Tallahassee doesn't bring value because it does.
Thank you.
Compared to going and get 450.
Thank you for trying to answer my question. But let me say this, right?
No, I did answer. No, I did answer. But I gave you context.
Okay.
Are you saying that the NBA doesn't do the exact same thing?
I didn't say you were the NBA though. But I want to be very clear. Now you're saying $25,000. Now I want to give people context of what Mr. Campbell is talking about with these $25,000. And see, listen, all I'm saying, I put the link in the chat so everybody can see the same sheet that I'm looking at. Now I want you guys to see if this makes sense or not. You take it as for what you want, right? $25,000. You know what that gives you? That gives you 12 football season tickets. Don't know who needs 12, but hey, who else? That gives you 4 reserve parking. That makes sense. 4 reserve parking. I'll take that. 4 places to put my car. 12 Orange Blossom Classic tickets. Don't know who needs 12 of them, but hey, who cares? 12 North End Zone passes. Once again, don't know who needs 12, but we'll continue on. Florida Classic Plaza Lounge tickets. Now, 12 of those Plaza Lounge, that might do something, right? 4 Florida Classic parking passes. Oh, okay, four people. Okay, we got 8 Florida Classic luncheon tickets. Might just pass those out to a few family and friends. 12 Florida Classic Battle of the Band tickets. Don't know who needs 12, but hey, who cares, right? 4 Florida Classic AD suite passes. Want to meet the AD? Okay, cool. If you don't, teach his own. And then 2 courtside basketball season tickets. Now, I don't know who would want those. Your team has been trash. Now, men, maybe. Women, maybe. But, hey, $25,000, if that's what you get, okay, teach his own. All I'm going to say is this. This is my whole argument, is that it does not stop her from getting more people if she doesn't have the number of home games that she would like. Because you can simply come out and say, hey, this year is a bad scheduling year. We have the MEX SWAC Challenge. We have the OBC. We have this out of game. It's just a bad scheduling year. That doesn't mean every year you're not going to at least get 5 home games. That doesn't make any sense to me. That you will make one decision. See, go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
You're fine. You're go ahead. I made my points.
Okay. So this is what I'm trying to tell you. You're not giving the value of these brands like Southern and Jackson the true respect that they deserve. So my thing, and then the $25,000, and let's be honest, most people that are buying that package are corporate entities or people that own their own business. That's why they get those 12 tickets, because they usually give them to their employees. They might have it for a raffle and things like that. So that's what that is. That's a corporate package, which makes sense. And then you got a lot of FAMU alumni that are C-suite executives that make their companies buy that package. That's why we sell it. So again, the point of it is, which you can't deny, which you don't like the number, but the fact that I can show you lifetime value is more than worth the $450,000. That can't be denied. The math is math in there.
Okay.
I just showed you with just that.
Mr. Campbell, but that doesn't stop her from still doing it. That's the argument I'm trying to make you.
But she has to do, we can settle that. That's her job to increase those lifetime. It don't matter. Guess what? We play Fort Valley every week. You're right. Okay. So I'll give you that. Fine. But it is great value when you have big name brands that people actually want to see. Is more of a motivation than me seeing Fort Valley and Lincoln on the schedule. If I've got Southern and Jackson State being part of that hub package every other year, that is a compelling game. And so, at least I got one big time game I'm going to be able to go to, not counting homecoming, which I know what's going to be. So that's just what she's doing. But I wanted to be clear that for you to sit back and act like $450,000 is some money when I understand why she's doing it, when the math is right there on the chart that you just showed. So you don't have to like it. This ain't for you to like. But I'm going to tell you what you did do. Like I say, you can bear that goal. But folks that make money and make big decisions, they have to take risks. Because the other flip side of that, if she don't increase, guess what she's going to be? She's going to be fired.
This is my point. This is bro, you're making my point. She's going to have to do the job no matter what. So why would I give away $450? And you could have said, you're not giving away $450.
Yes, you keep saying, this is the double thing. You keep saying giving away $450.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are. And let me finish. At the end of the day, you could have gone. Listen, you want to talk about renegotiating to get more money? Why couldn't you have gone back to her and say, "Hey, listen, can we get a new opponent?" Because if we're supposed to be working together, if FAMU and OBC is supposed to be working together, why could you have not gone to her and say, "Hey, listen, Kendra," and I'm not saying it happens or did not happen. You could have. Why couldn't you go to Kendra and say, "Hey, Kendra, can we get JSU for 2 years and then can we get a new opponent? Because we would like to increase our ticket packages by putting them on our regular season schedule." Because I do think that a North Carolina A&T and a FAMU matchup would be big money in Miami. Do you not agree with that?
Okay, and this is what, we've already had the discussion with A&T. A&T said we're booked for the next 5 years. A&T already said it. So you can't get A&T. They've already answered that question. And let me tell you about working together. We ain't working together. We ain't sharing the money. I'm working for you if you're paying me. Working together with the Florida Classic is. So, if the OBC want to work together, then give us and Jackson State the amount of money as a full partner which will probably be 1.2 to 1.5 million, and then we're working together. But if you're paying me, I'm working for you. There's a difference.
And she's paying you your value. When you make $100K at a football game and she's giving you 3 times your amount, that is you giving your value. Jackson State is not getting their value, but you are. You're getting your value. I don't understand how is that not? Because
I keep trying to tell you, and me and you had this discussion before we got on. You're equating the home game, which is not, and I'm going to say this, and I'm going to quote what she said, to increase the value of investment for champion package. It has nothing to do about a single home game. So that's where your argument is flawed. It has nothing to do with that. And you can't misquote her when I'm giving you the quote.
The Orange Blossom Classic is
so it's
inside.
Not
the Orange Blossom Classic is inside this investment champions package. So what are we talking about right now?
So again, not for all the packages. Not every package is not.
Yes, it is.
Not for all the packages.
The only package it is not a part of is the basic Green Rattler package. But after that, I can bring it up right here.
Wait a minute. So what do you think? So wait a minute. What do you think more likely than not she will sell more of on a percentage? The bottom line one or the top line one?
Oh, so if she's supposed to be selling, be a seller and sell. And so you telling me you selling 25,000, but you can't sell. Miss Sykes just said she paid for the 2,500 package, the championship package. You can't sell the Orange Rattler package, which is $500 more. And you telling me she's supposed to be a salesman? You got to sell regardless. You got to sell. Then sell it.
I tell you what, let me ask you a question. You know why McDonald's is successful? Because they sell cheap hamburgers.
Oh, my.
And they sell them by volume.
Come on, man. Their argument is fluctuating.
So again, see, I keep trying, man, listen, I do this for a living. I sell hair. And you know, I got hair that's expensive. I got hair that's cheap. And it's easy for me to sell cheaper hair than sometimes expensive hair. I do it every day. So you can't tell me what's the difference, because I'm answering your question. Because more likely than not, her percentage of sales at the 900 on return on value might be more than the one at 5,000. That's the reason why it's set at 1,000. That's not 900. That's where the math comes in at. She might say, I have X amount of percentage of people. If it's just say it's a pie chart and it's 100 people, right? That she's targeting. Let's just say just to make it easy. And she knows that only 50% of them are not going to go any higher than $1,000. She knows it. So she's going to capture that. So guess what? Her pie is already done by 50% because she knows she can capture those people. That's what you do. It's targeting. It makes sense. So that's it, man. So again, we can sit back there and they can feed you all that. And again, I ain't got no problem with the propaganda. But it's very obvious of what's going on here. So the OBC wants FAMU to be happy to take the $500,000. 80 Sykes said, I ain't going to do it. She got the right to do it. And you know what's funny? In 2 or 3 years, we'll see who's right and who's wrong.
We shall. We definitely shall see that. We definitely shall.
That's it.
All right, Mr. Gamble. Appreciate the call.
Love you, man.
All right. Same here. 0851. Hey, calling you live.
How you doing today? In the words of famous words of Gucci Mane, you get the bag and flip it and fumble it. Get the bag and flip it and tumble it.
Come on.
I think the promoter got caught flat-footed in this situation. And when you pledge and you go through this burning sands, you reach a point of no return, and you must press through it. I think that a good idea would bring in a third-party investor, increase the payouts, and also add in a live performance for the halftime, which would bring more attention to the game, the teams, the schools, everybody involved, add more activities. And that will also increase the ticket price. So if a Shaquille O'Neal or somebody put up $10 million and each school gets $2 million guaranteed, cover all expenses, and you do live performance at halftime, I think that solves all your problems. But what happened in this situation is it became public knowledge that somebody was going to pull out because the money wasn't right. And that hurts us as HBCU every time, no matter who does it. That's my opinion, but I'm sure to hear your thoughts on that. Because every time you hear about us, it's all about money not being paid right. The right amount, we're not getting our value. We can do better on our own.
It doesn't make, like, you're not making any, to me, you're not making any sense in regards to this situation. They own the Florida Classic. How much do they get paid? I believe they get paid out $1 million as such, right? They split it between Bethune-Cookman. They bring in about $3-4 million. They pay expenses. FAMU gets about $1 million. Bethune-Cookman, because they own it. They get an event company and manage it for them, and boom, boom, boom. All right. When you do not own something, you do not have the leverage to tell somebody else what they should or should not pay you. That's number one. Number two, they are paying FAMU 3 times their amount they would make at a home game. That is damn good value. For Jackson State, that's not good value. But for FAMU, that is good value.
Well, let me take it back. So years ago, they used to have a Circuit City Classic in Indianapolis, and it was Alcorn and Hampton. And the reason why that didn't work out is because neither one of the schools was getting the money to cover the travel expenses and hotel. So that whole situation went belly up.
So what do you?
And then ticket sales went there at the end of it. So I understand what you're saying.
Why? Listen, that's a horrible example, because at the end of the day, she covers all that. So she covers she covers travel, she covers the hotel, she covers all their expenses. They literally walk out with a $450,000 check for showing up and playing a football game. That's what they get paid.
So they want more money, is why they're not participating, correct?
I don't know. From what Mr. Campbell and the FAMU people are saying, is that she wants the JSU as a regular home game so she can increase the value or sell the ticket prices of investing in champions. My point is saying this: if you already had to sell the jokers, it wouldn't matter if JSU was a home game or not. So go ahead.
But you need that contract for that long-standing game to increase the purchase price of the media contract. So there's always motivation to get a long-term agreement. I'm saying if you're gonna do that, bring in a third-party investor, increase the payouts, make everybody happy to sit there and take whatever it is the situation is.
And then she lose. Listen, hold up. You see, this is you're talking, but you're not giving all the variables in your assessment. If you bring in a third-party investor, then I give up ownership in my OBC, because I have to give them something. It could be equity in the OBC. Maybe she does not want to do that, because when you bring in a third-party investor, you have to give them something. Correct? Is that not correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
so
100% of nothing is nothing. So that's what they're faced with: something or nothing.
How is it 100% of nothing when she already found 2 teams to replace them in the OBC? Make that make sense. There's other teams that want to be a part of this. So it's not 100% of nothing. So what are you talking about?
Well, I thought it was saying the Jackson State FAMU game particularly, but if you got other teams, I don't know if they would do the same, but prestige-wise, but it could be. You never know.
It's the same thing for listen, thank you for calling. You Bamas are killing me today. It's the same argument for both sides of the coin. Is it a risk for Miss Kendra to get 2 new teams into the OBC? Absolutely. Is it a risk for FAMU to step away from the OBC and think that Sykes is going to add 180 people to buy, or 5 or 6 people to buy investment packages? Yes, it is. They're both risk. Hey, what's up, Mr. Bugs? Thanks for calling. Hello, Mr. Bugs. You there? Hello? Hey, Mr. Bugs, call back in. I don't know what's up with your phone. Call back in. Right? So it just boggles me. Then you're talking about, let's bring in a third-party investor to make. Then I got to give the third-party investor something. They not giving me $10 million for free. They I like you. Here you. That's not how that works. Hold on. So it's crazy to me that if she like at the end of the job of an AD is to sell, ma'am, sell. All right, coming to you, Mr. Bugs. Hey, can you hear me?
How you doing, Scotty? Man, doing all right, brother?
I'm doing fine.
Yeah, man. I'm gonna ask some questions so I get the entire context, and then I give my opinion.
Okay.
My question is: it seems like this is a question of what's bringing value. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. So, in this context, what is the promoter saying is bringing the true value to the table, which is driving the dollars?
Okay. So the matchup is what she's selling, right? She's selling the FAMU and JSU matchup. That's at the end of the day, it's kind of like the Warriors and the Cavaliers on Christmas. You get what I'm saying? Like it's a big time matchup. So she's selling that matchup to get her investment back, right? And she pays the schools $450 a piece, and that's what their value is to make the matchup work.
Okay, fine. And so, what seems to be the source of contention? If JSU and FAMU are bringing value, what seems to be the source of contention?
So the contention is this: they lose a home game that they could have in Tallahassee, and the AD feels that losing that game, because she could have that Jackson State game at home, right? She can have that Jackson State game at home. Every other year she'll have that game at home. And she's feel like she's losing value she can't really sell her season ticket packages or her investment in championship package with pretty much as season tickets. She can't sell that because now that Jackson State game is not a home game. So she's losing that, and she's losing the value to sell to her fans for season ticket prices.
So JSU is basically losing revenue because she can't sell the classic game as a home game, right?
So it's not Jackson. Jackson does their own thing, but
FAMU.
Yeah, FAMU. She feels that FAMU is losing. Let's say she feels like FAMU is losing the war because she can't sell her investment championship package, right? She can't really sell it like she wants to because she's losing the home game, which she feels she could, if she got that home game back, I could sell more investing in championship games and make that $450 back in season tickets.
Well, if you're making more revenue, now I got my investor hat on. If you are making more money in a home game, do the damn home game. If it don't make dollars, it don't make sense, right?
Yep, that's what you say.
This is an easy solution. Now, if you want the additional game, that's fine. Create the additional game, which can drive more revenue. You don't need an investor to come in, because if I came in, I'm going to want some equity for my investment, some security.
Yeah.
And if you need me to come in to drive the value, I don't see no value at all. FAMU and or the opponent should bring the value. Get the bag on the home game, sell your tickets, right? That's good for university. And there's a reason an additional game, if you can, to drive in more revenue. This is a simple solution.
So this is my argument, right? So to your point, my argument is this. Let's like this, right? If you were already supposed to sell your job, that's what everybody's been telling me from FAMU. Your job is to sell the investment packages. It doesn't matter if it's 4 home games, 5 home games. I look at it as this. If I can get $450,000 from the FAMU and Jackson State game, and then I can also sell 180 new packages to make another $450,000, I've just doubled my money than just giving away one game and betting all my dollars and betting all my ducks on selling more packages, because there is no guarantee that you're going to sell $450,000 worth of season ticket prices. There's no guarantee to that, but there is a guarantee that you'll have $450,000 to be your buffer, and then you can still increase your season ticket back. That's my view of it. But as an investor,
I see that.
You know what I'm saying? That's what you do.
I see that. That actually makes sense. Like my grandma would say, a bird in hand is better than 2 in the bush. And so if it's working as it is, what you actually are presenting, I would do that.
Now, if you want to do something that can maybe bring some additional revenue, beta test it. See how we do it. Begin to ask your fans, would you pay additional for this? Test it out. Split test it. Don't just throw all your eggs in one basket and say, well, hopefully it worked. We're going to invest in hope. That's the worst plan in history. And no investor would ever partner with you. But if you actually have some data to say, hey, we've done X, it's worked well, we want to do Y as well. We've actually gathered some data from people that's already paying, and we can get this additional revenue, that's attractive to me, because that lets me know you've already tested it out and you have the data to support any type of partnership to where my investment is secure. Does that make sense or no?
No, I understand what you're saying. I understand. And, you know, for me, it's just that I feel as though it's kind of like this, right? It's like it all depends on your risk take, right? Like if I was in a sales job and they say, hey, Scotty, we'll pay you 70% of whatever you sell, but we won't pay you a base commission, right? We won't pay you a base salary, or we'll give you a base salary and we'll give you 40% of what. It all depends on, do you feel you're that good, right? Me, I ain't that good. I need the base. I need the base salary. I ain't that good, okay? I need the base salary, and I'm going to take the 40%. But AD Sykes is like, yo, I'll take the 70%, and I'll just live off that. And that I guess, you know, at my risk level, I feel like that's too high. That just feels like it's too high to me, because I'd rather take the $450,000 that I know I'm going to have and then make everything else work around it, because I'm going to still have $450,000.
Yeah, I'm rocking with you, which is fine, but I would try to find out a way for me to get both. What that looks like, I don't know. We have to look at it and see what that can be. I understand the risk that you're talking about, but also there's also a desire to increase revenue. And so you can find a solution in both of those. You just got to sit down and figure it out. That makes sense.
That's what it is. Hey, Mr. Bud, I appreciate the call as always.
God bless, man.
All right, man. Appreciate it. Oh, man, people came in hard. Perry, coming to you. I see Fam UKJ. I see you on the line, 8183-0265. I see all you guys. I'm going to get to you guys, promise. Hey, calling you live. What's up, P?
What's up with it?
What's going on?
I know you're trying to make the numbers make sense, and you're stressing yourself, and you're trying to explain it to people. I think it's more than the numbers, if you ask me. They just tired of getting their ass whooped in Miami. They said, let's get Jackson State to Tallahassee. I think that's just simply what it is. Don't let the numbers confuse you and throw you off thinking it's all about the numbers.
Yeah.
Plus, then fam, you moved to the SWAC for a reason.
Yeah.
They moved to the SWAC for the home game, the home atmosphere, the SWAC atmosphere. Jackson State, Alabama State, Southern, those are teams that can give them that home field that I think that AD is looking for too when she's talking about selling the tickets. I mean, look how hard it was for them to get, even though they still had crowds when they was in the MEAC, they wasn't dependent on MEAC teams to come down to Tallahassee when you look at outside of an A&T and maybe a South Carolina State. So, of course, if I'm an AD and I'm in a conference with Jackson State with the name that they have, I want Jackson State at home. It sounds good at first coming into the SWAC and being able to play Jackson State in Miami. So, yeah, you play in the Orange Blossom Classic, but I don't think they knew the flair of what Jackson State was going to be in terms of FAMU with Dion and how all that turned out. Now Jackson been whooping your ass down in Miami. It's like, all right, enough of that. That was fun while it lasted. We had a good time, but we moved to the SWAC for a reason. We moved to the SWAC to have premier home games. All right, we ain't in the MEAC no more where I can take the show on the road because I have to do it because on the back end I don't have those games at home. Now you can have premier home games with a Southern, Jackson, and Alabama State, just to name three schools that I think within proximity that will show up and will create that atmosphere. And I think that's simply what it is. I think it's more than just looking at the numbers and just thinking, oh, I think it's getting too caught up into the numbers. It's more about the experience and what you can gain by being in Tallahassee more so than what you can get in Miami. Plus, Miami is draining on your fan base. And anybody fan base trying to get to an expensive city, go to a game and have fun and do those things more so than going to Tallahassee.
Shit, it's expensive to going to Tallahassee is like going to Miami. Have you seen them hotel prices? They are ridiculous.
It's solid. It's solid, but shit, still, I can get away from Tallahassee if I need to. I can get around the outskirts. I mean, there's no going to Miami just point blank, period. Is just that's tough.
I disagree. I disagree on that one. I disagree on you on that one because
that's not the argument. That's not the argument for the vast majority. You may speak because you can do it, but the average fans ain't trying to just keep jumping down to Miami.
You brought that up about you brought that up about the hotel and it's easier to go. You brought that up.
Well, because I'm speaking about the average person. I'm saying saying that. It's nothing like Tallahassee is expensive, but Tallahassee ain't expensive if I live in Tallahassee and I'm a FAMU fan. I'm leaving my house and I'm going to the stadium.
That's fair.
Right?
Yeah. But what about everybody who don't live in Tallahassee? They still got to travel.
Well, I can drive. Hell, I can get back to the panhandle of Florida and stay. So, I mean, that's happened with Southern a couple years ago when we went. We didn't necessarily stay in Tallahassee. We made our way a couple of hours outside of Tallahassee and stayed somewhere else. I mean, it still came out to be cheaper. Of course, Tallahassee is expensive, but I just think if you FAMU, this is what you came to the SWAC for. You came to the SWAC to have premier home games, in which what you said, the AD saying she wants to sell more of those season tickets. That's what it's about. I want to give my fans premier home games, and if Jackson State can be a premier home game, then I'll take that with the atmosphere that they can create. And you see that and that's why I'm bringing up Southern and Alabama State teams that can create that type of atmosphere that can boost season tickets if those teams are on the home schedule for FAMU. I think that's what it's more about than just saying we want to go to the Orange Blossom. They always just say all money ain't good money. Just because they throwing it at me don't mean I have to take it.
You was going to have to sell those packages anyway. It's such a bad argument. You were going to have to sell season tickets regardless. You was going to have to sell that shit regardless. It's a bad argument. It doesn't matter.
Go ahead.
It doesn't matter if Jackson State is on the list or not. You are going to have to sell the tickets regardless.
That's fine. Okay. I got to sell tickets. That's my job as an athletic department. But I also want to have home games too. It's cool to try something and go somewhere. It's cool to go eat out sometime, right?
Better.
But do you eat out every time? Sometimes you say, you know what? We can just go to the house. Let's eat at the house.
Then schedule better. It doesn't have anything to schedule better.
Okay. All right. Who are you going to schedule outside of the SWAC team that you talking about schedule better? Help me out.
Okay.
Let's have an honest conversation.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Who are you going to schedule?
Hold up. Let me finish, right? Because I just saw your trash ass team schedule 10 SWAC teams? 11? Was it 11 SWAC teams or 10? I can't count.
Wait. Why we gotta be disrespectful?
No,
why we gotta be disrespectful?
Because it was a trash schedule. But if you're talking about that's what Southern can do, why can't FAMU do the same thing? Schedule better. If you want more home games, schedule more SWAC teams if that's what you feel. Can they not do that? Southern,
all right, let's be honest. You move to the conference, right? And when you move to the conference, you're basing off there's a few teams that can create a SWAC game day atmosphere that you feel can save and help you in Tallahassee when it comes to season tickets and having home games. Every team in the SWAC not going to create that. We see that here at Southern. Every team, just because they in the SWAC, not going to create that. It comes down to your fan base. FAMU is one of those schools in terms of athletics that is blessed to have a good fan base. When you have a good, loyal fan base, you bless them with the teams that's within the conference, the Southerns and the Jacksons. Southern is already permanently on your schedule. Alabama State is already permanently on your schedule. Jackson State is already permanently on your schedule. Everybody else in the SWAC, Tallahassee so far, you hope they show up. Like this year, they got Prairie View for homecoming, right? Prairie View has been pretty good in the SWAC over the past, 10 years with a winning record in conference play. Outside of the SWAC teams, you saying schedule better. You can get what you're going to get in the conference, but what more do you want them to get when you say schedule better?
So you tell
they trying to schedule better. Get Jackson State at home. I don't have to go to Miami and play Jackson State.
I'm looking at their schedule from 2024 to 2025. They got Norfolk State in the MEAC SWAC Challenge. They got South Carolina State Bulldogs. They got Miami of Florida Hurricanes, and they got Troy Trojans. Then the 2025 season, they got South Alabama Jaguars, South Carolina State Bulldogs, and Florida Gators. So to me, I'm saying schedule builder. Why couldn't you have put a Southeast Louisiana back on your schedule from the playoff game? Why couldn't you have done that and ran it back home and home? Why couldn't you have done that? I mean, there's teams.
This ain't about them. This is about one team.
Better. No, you can't. No, stop going back to Jackson State being your premise. No, I'm saying schedule
This is what
better.
it's about.
Is it about home games or just a certain home game?
Certain home games. That's what I'm telling you. I think you're making it about home games, period. I'm telling you it's certain home games. That's why I'm naming you certain teams.
She said more home games. I want more home games. That's what she said in her argument as well. Now, if that includes Jackson State, you only get them every other year. So at the same time,
that's exactly
okay. So at the end of the day, why can't you schedule better, or why can't you pull a Southern and just load your schedule up with swag teams? And you still
Southern
get
already
the
on your schedule as your permanent West Division team.
I said
Alabama State is already on your schedule. Jackson State is on your schedule. If you want to get more home games, well, I'm losing one with a team that's permanently on my schedule with Jackson State instead of me taking to Miami. You saying schedule better home games, and that's what she's trying to do. I can leave. I'm not obligated to go to Miami because it sounds good. I'm obligated to what my fan base is, and I bring a good team.
And you don't have to play an FBS team, do you? You don't have to play that.
You don't have to play a what now?
You don't have to play an FBS team. You don't have to play that.
Who do you want to play?
Southern gave you the blueprint. They don't have to play an FBS squad. You can replace that game with something else and make it a home game.
But Southern also not giving up premier opponents at home on the road. The only premier opponent that we giving up on the road is Grambling. You heard the conversation of Southern and Jackson maybe going on the road, and what happened? Although it's a non-conference game in the Pete Richardson Classic, Southern and Jackson is going to be, guess what? In Baton Rouge.
So you're telling me
it made more sense.
Go ahead, Perry. I'm sorry. Finish your point. It made more sense.
Well, it made more sense. They brought it to Baton Rouge. Baton Rouge going to make the money this year. Guess what? It'll be a non-conference game next year, and we're going to go to Jackson. Yeah, we could have took it on the road. I thought it would have been good on the road, but when you look at the idea, you can have that at home. It is a premier game. We could have took Jackson the same way FAMU was taking Jackson on the road, but instead we kept it at home, and Jackson said, you know what? You get it this year, and we'll get it on the back end next year. That's the same thing FAMU is looking at with this situation.
So you're telling me,
although it sounds good,
so you're
looking at getting Jackson State and Tallahassee.
So you're telling me that you can't sell a playoff rematch in your season ticket holders if you made it a home and home? You're telling me you can't sell that?
You know it best when it comes to HBCU
I'm asking
football.
You a question.
If I schedule a white school and I don't put them down for homecoming, there's going to be no interest.
You cannot sell a playoff rematch at your home stadium. You are a trash ass AD. Point blank. Period. If you can't if you can't sell a playoff rematch, you're trash. I don't care what nobody talking about. You trash.
Man, a white school that's been in the playoff can't even sell a playoff rematch. Southeastern ain't selling out because they rescheduling whatever FCS schools because that school was top 25 or whoever else in the top 25 of FCS. That means I guess everybody trash. It's all about the matchup, Scotty. You can't make it work because that's the narrative that you want to push. You got to go by what the fans want. Do everything please the fans. They do not. But if I got Jackson State and I can have Jackson State at home, I know that's what's going to get my fan base up. My fan base not going to get up for Southeastern because I played them in the playoffs last year unless I'm scheduling Southeastern for homecoming, and I know the interest is going to be there anyway. But other than that, just a regular game, take Southern and McNeese. McNeese was a perennial power for years in FCS. Southern fans didn't give a damn McNeese was coming to Baton Rouge. Southern fans, the ones that are loyal to the program, will show up, but the interest wasn't there. You put Jackson State on the schedule, the interest is that it'll be buzzing for 5-6 months knowing that Jackson State on the schedule. It don't matter about the playoff. It don't matter about the football team. There's no interest there if they don't bring anybody that the fans are going to think interesting. Jackson State is interesting.
Don't make sense.
Do you not? Do you understand? Does that not make sense?
Nope, not even a little bit. Not even the least bit. But hey,
so you haven't understood HBCU football yet and how it works. That's like if I schedule the Orange Blossom Classic, and just because Southeastern was the opponent I played in the playoffs last year, and I'm FAMU, and I said, you know what? We played them in the playoffs last year. They're a good football team. Let's put them in the Orange Blossom Classic. Do you think that'll generate interest at the Orange Blossom Classic?
No, because that's a classic. Don't work with white teams. I totally understand that, but I'm not agreeing with if you
Black college home games don't work with white teams either. That's the exact point. It's the same fan base. The fan base don't switch up from an HBCU home game to an HBCU Classic. It's all the same. It's either you on the road or you at home, and that's what I'm trying to get you to understand. It don't switch up because I'm at home. It don't switch up because I'm at a Classic. The fans are interested in certain opponents. That's just simply what it is. And because if you don't have a proper opponent, the fans won't be interested in it.
To me, that's just trash. I don't like. It's no way else around it to explain that. That is a trash ass argument. That if I put a team on the schedule that we got beat by, that we can come back and play, and now I can't sell that to my fans. I don't understand that, man. But thanks for the call, though, P. I don't get it. That's trash. That is absolutely trash to me. But you can, because if every game, if you're only looking for the big games, Homecoming, Southern, and Jackson State, you got 3 other games that you got to play. So is nobody show up in those? Is nobody going to show up to the other 3 games when you got? It don't make any. This is stupid, man. 81. Oh, FAMU KJ coming to you.
All right. What's up, Scotty?
What's up, man?
All right. Check this out, man. I'm going to push back just a little bit. Let me just get your opinion on when you're talking about the OBC and the scheduling, and what I think FAMU is looking at is that we got Miami twice, right? And UM, and we're going to be playing down there twice in Miami in a 4-week period. And to me, that doesn't make sense. And you're going to end up somewhat alienating your other base when you got 2 games down there against UM and the OBC within a 4-week period. That doesn't make sense, man.
It's your fault. You scheduled it.
No. What I'm saying is that's one of the reasons why she's kind of going ahead and saying we're not going to go ahead and play the OBC, because we're going to be getting 800,000 from UM for both of those games. And then secondly, let me just say this much. She's the sister that owns the Classic. She's playing a shell game on FAM. Now, you're bringing in the teams on Wednesday or Thursday and saying, oh, we're covering all the fees. Man, F that, right? I don't need to come down there on Wednesday night or Thursday morning. Put that money into to paying us. We can come down there on Saturday morning. We play Sunday and dip and keep that gets more money than guarantee. But I think last year Jackson State came in on Wednesday. That doesn't make any sense to be having a team down there for 4 days, and that's a shell game that you're doing. Oh, we covering your expenses or whatever. No. Put that money in my guarantee. I don't need to be down there that long. Fam, you right up here in Tallahassee. We can come down there on Friday, play on Sunday, and put that money in the guarantee.
No, I agree with you on that. I think that's fair. I mean, if that's what it is, yeah, I think that's fair. Come down Friday, stay Saturday, dip out on Sunday. I definitely agree with you. But I mean, I'm like, yo, this is crazy to me. Like, Bama scheduled these games. Nobody told you to schedule Miami. Nobody told you to schedule the Trojans. Nobody told you to schedule South Carolina State. Nobody told you to schedule that. Y'all did that. And then you're like, oh,
no. We did it because the contract was expiring with the OBC. So just in case, if we don't work something out, I got this covered with the with a $750,000, $800,000 guarantee with UM down there. So that covers both bases to say I'm going to still get my FAMU alums that what we do with the OBC just in case they don't want to, come up to the contract negotiations. I got that base covered, and I'm not just completely out of the area if we don't work something out. Now the OBC somewhat has us
about it, you know what, if we can't work something out. So that's why we scheduled that game.
Okay. See, this is this is my issue with. So I can't really make the argument because she didn't schedule the UM game. So my argument won't work for this, right? But I'm going to say down the line, this is what I'm going to say. I bet not see FBS games on your schedule. Why, you ask? Is because if you're making your fans invest in the champions and package to replace some of these games, you should not put your team underneath that duress to go out and have to pay a pay-for-play game. You get what I'm saying? Does that make it? I hope I'm making some type of logical sense on that one.
I get you.
You get what I'm saying? Because you cannot tell me I'm trying to bring in all this revenue from home games, invest in champions, the package, this, that, and the third, and then you're also scheduling pay-for-play games where you're sacrificing your team to make a check. Something got to add up if you're supposed to be making all this money on the investing in champions. So that's going to be my only pushback. Now, I don't mind if you do a group of 5 or something kind of low level. I'm cool with that. UABs and all that ain't too bad. Like, you know what I'm saying? But you out here scheduling Florida and UM? Nah, I ain't rocking with that one. I ain't rocking with that one.
And that was before her now. So that I think that was Goshen.
Yeah, that was Goshen. That was Goshen. So I can't put that on her, like I said. But coming down the pipe after these next couple years, oh yeah, absolutely. I'm not. Yeah, I don't want to see none of that. I don't want to see nothing like. So we in 2025. So 2027, 2028, 2029. I don't want to see none of that. If you're supposed to be doing your job in making this investment champions,
I would just say this much. Check out this. Like I say, the shell game that's being played on us is again talking about bringing us down there on Wednesday or Thursday morning and playing us like that. Kids just walking around or whatever, chilling 4 or 5 days down there, man. That's money that could be going in our guarantee, and we out of there. Now we probably bringing home $600,000-$700,000 instead of the $400,000, $450,000, man.
All right, man. Appreciate the call.
Okay, appreciate it.
I know, man. Appreciate it, Fate. Listen, it got to be one or the other. It got to be one or the other, right? Or, okay, so I'll give you the FBS game. Let's say you put the FBS game on, right? Then the other ones have to be high-level FCS games. It can't be like my boy Blue said. It can't be Lincoln in West Georgia. It can't be I should not see D2 games on your schedule as a home games. If you're supposed to be trying to sell that, how is that selling it to a fan base? Oh, you know what? Oh, we got West Georgia and Lincoln. We got University of Lynchburg and Edward Waters. Like, what are we doing? It's like y'all say one thing and then your 80 does another, or you say this and you do that. It doesn't make any sense. At least when I think Southern schedule was trash, absolutely trash. But I get why you schedule all SWAC teams, right? Because they're all on your level. They're all on your playing field. But you scheduling Lincoln and University of Lynchburg and Edward Waters and come on, man. Come on, bro. So it is that. Let me see. I'm going to go 0265, then JB, I'm coming to you, and then 8183. Hey, call to you live.
What up, Scott? It's Travis. How are you, man?
What's up?
So I'm just going to tell you straight up. One, you fighting an emotional battle. You're not fighting business one-on-one. It doesn't make sense if FAM or any HBCU don't even make $200,000 on a regular season home game to turn out $400,000 plus expenses all paid. It's an emotional roller coaster. And I think you said it earlier. The main thing is that we don't make money on our games because why? We comp so many tickets away. And that's all it's about. It's the freeness that some of these alums and board members want to get when it comes to these home games. And that's it. It's not about making money. Like, I want you to start thinking it's about making money. It's not. Everyone would tell you that, but it's not. It's about the emotional roller coaster that they want to be on. They want to scream about making money or not making money, but they don't want to do the things to make money. So that's it doesn't make sense for us to turn out almost $500,000 for one game when you're not even going to probably make $300,000 on 2 or 3 games of home games, or even season tickets alone.
Yeah,
upfront money. So that's my argument right there, man. So that's what I just wanted to tell you, man. Stop fighting the emotional about it. They not gonna get it. They don't want to get it because behind the scenes, there's so many comps going on with these tickets, and it's just not damn. It's not me at school, SWAT schools, all of these schools that got football teams. They comp so many tickets to the community and to their friends and family that they're not even trying to make money anymore.
Man, it's a tough uphill battle, man. Appreciate the call. Hey, let me say this with Edwin Moore, right? I get it. Tuskegee and Alabama State, Turkey Day Classic, I get it. Alabama A&M and Tuskegee, I get it. NCCU, Winston-Salem State, I get it. But that should be the only game. You got a rivalry with Lincoln, Edwin Moore? You got a rivalry with Lynchburg? Do you have a rivalry with West Florida? I just need to understand. All these Bamas do not have rivalries with D2s. Okay? So let's stop the madness. I get it. I get the Tuskegees. I get all that. Right? I understand those. I get it. Those you don't, oh yeah, for our fan base, and because we don't really love football. Because listen, I'm gonna say this from the mountaintop. I don't give a damn how long I'm on this YouTube. HBCU fans do not care about football. They don't. They don't care about football. All they care about is who plays the best music, who can come out and see me. Oh, it's a pageant. That's all they care about. They don't care about football because any real team that has an opportunity to get some get back, I dare anybody to go to FAMU's football players and say, hey, would you not want a rematch with Southeast Louisiana? Every football player in that locker room would absolutely say, hell yeah. Hell yeah. We want that rematch with Southeast Louisiana. Coach Willie Simmons would want the rematch between Southeast Louisiana. But to the black fans, it don't make sense. They're white. They won't bring a band. They won't do this. They won't do the Cupid Shuffle with us. That's what it is. They won't be in the parking lot with us. They won't be. They don't care about football. Sickening. JB coming to you.
Scotty. All right. Just get a couple things. First of all, take it down a little bit, bro. I know you're about to pop a blood vessel on your head dealing with some of these callers, man. So I'm going to try to make it a little go for a minute here too, man. All right. Okay. First of all, the whole hustling backwards thing and whatnot, right? And there's a few points I want to make. Number one, people don't understand that bands traveling cost money. A lot of people give schools about HBCUs. Now, people say, well, how come school don't travel? I said, because bringing a 300 to 400 piece band is expensive. And you're wasting that money for what? Just so for an experience? That doesn't make a lot of sense. But the other recent topic you're talking about here. Okay. So people talk about schools they want to see. Like they run from playing other FCS teams. But I'm going to tell you why in a minute. We bring up the D2 games. Okay. Keep in mind, when you play a D2 or NAIA school, you are paying them to come. So whatever money that you think you're going to make from a home game, you are shelling out a few $1,000s to get them to come up for that meeting in the first place. So how much money are you actually making from this? Which makes zero sense. But then now the P5 games, those I agree because everyone in the country plays them. What I heard from some of these callers earlier, I'm hearing emotion. I'm hearing fans, and let's just be frank about this, Scotty. They're afraid, yes, I said afraid, of taking on other FCS teams that are not HBCUs. That's what this is all about. Now, people say, well, they don't care about running up to white folks, blah, 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 blah. Okay, but you run up to try to get those awards. You run up caring about your draft status. You come around to these white folks in every other sport. Why is football such a big deal? Why is football such a problem? Because you're afraid of getting your ass whipped. Now, speaking about wanting to get back, the one year that Cooking, we got beat by Coastal Carolina at home, 24-14. I'm still mad about that game, by the way. People are talking about, well, where'd you receive champs? The one thing that every fan said, and a lot of the players said this at the game too, they all said, F that. I want Coastal Carolina next year. I want that lick back, as they say. They didn't care about just being the best in the MEAC or the best HEC. They wanted that higher competition. They wanted that. But from what I'm seeing our fans here, they just want the tradition. They want to have a good time. Perfectly fine. But there is fallback that comes to that. Because then you're going to start asking, oh, well, how come we view different? How come we view this cupcakes? Because you don't beat anybody. That's why. Well, how come the kids want to come play for us? Because you don't play against anyone. That's why. And if I want to close out with this, Scotty, about a year ago, you had a caller that was playing on the FAMU football team. And we were talking about the exact same topic. And he mentioned the fact that a lot of friends come and say, hey, one of the reasons why we don't come is because who do y'all play? Why do we only play other HBCUs? It's the fans. It's the fans that are afraid of losing. It's the fans that are afraid. It's the fans that are scared. Sorry about that.
The next session would start at 10.
Sorry, man. It is the fans that are afraid of looking bad in front of other people. That's all I got. It's basically, you're scared. Just admit it. You're afraid of looking bad and what other people want to say about you.
Hey, appreciate the call, JB. KP, coming to you then, Perry. Back to you. What's up, KP?
Why? What's up, boy? What's going on, bro?
Man, chilling with you. What's going on with you?
Nothing much, man. Real quick, man, just to go back, just to jump on the topic, man. Southern used to play Nicholls State.
All the time.
Home and home.
For like 10 years.
All the time, home and home.
Yeah.
90s. So I will say this now, that game would be packed, but you would have people selling tickets, giving away tickets. But the game will be packed because they come in to see the product. They come to see a competitive game. I think that may be a factor, the competitiveness of the teams, not being able to schedule your Nicholls States. We used to play McNeese. It used to be a home and home competitive game. We kind of beat McNeese at home. And I think by the competitiveness, the teams like McNeese and Nicholls State, they didn't bring fans to Southern. But when we would play them at their stadium, Southern would travel to their stadium and pack their stadium. And I think that's when the fallout started to kind of happen between Southern and Nicholls State. I don't know. I'm just assuming. Because we'll bring fans. We bring in 10,000. They bring in 100.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
I don't know.
Y'all making money off us.
I don't know. Go ahead.
Nah, they're making money off you, but they won't give it back to y'all. I see. Yeah, I get you. I get you on that one.
So I don't know if the AD. I don't know why teams are not scheduling like they used to do in the 90s, because they're not only Southern but other SWAC teams used to play outside of the conference. So I don't know if that's a major factor in their scheduling other teams outside of the conference. But I'm with you, man. I mean, we have to create more matchups outside of the SWAC, especially with other teams in other conferences. Just kind of make that rival, just put more eyes on your scheduling. Because I would say this: when when North Carolina A&T, when they had all them players, all them good teams, I was hoping Southern would do a home and home with them. That would have been a good look when they was at their top of their game and we had a competitive team. I wanted to see us play them and not have to wait till the Celebration Bowl to see them, like things like that. But man, that's what I wanted to put in, man. Good show. Appreciate the content. Keep doing your thing, bro.
Hey, appreciate it.
For sure.
Let me say this, man. What is the difference? This is my argument, right? This is my argument, because if the white people aren't coming to your game, right, and you're saying that you won't get up for Valley, see, this is okay, right? Which one gives you more validity in the football realm, right? You guys can get mad all you want, but I'm gonna just keep it a buck. You're saying that if we schedule a Southeast Louisiana, or if we schedule a Texas A&M Commerce, or if we schedule a Kennesaw State, that nobody's gonna come watch the game. But if you schedule a Valley, that game ain't gonna sell out, and you get more football value playing against a Kennesaw State or a Sanford or something along those lines than playing a Valley. So if you were trying to get into the playoffs in any situation, the game against Sanford or Kennesaw State or UT Martin or whatever would actually benefit you more than you going or Valley coming to you. Or vice versa. If it's a home game in FAMU, I went to FAMU versus Valley. I was in the Delta. I could count on my hands how many people was up in the stands. Okay? So what is the difference? What is the difference? Does the football matter, or just because it's black? Because if the football mattered, you would schedule more FCS opponents that will give you better strength of schedule, better football victories, it'll be a better look for your program. Or you can keep scheduling. Like if Alcorn would have pulled the victory out over Stephen F. Austin, that would have been huge for the program. The fact that they played them so well when they were ranked top 10 was huge for the program. So I'm confused. I'm just really confused. It just kills me with this HBCU stuff that is just all about the party and not about the football. It just kills me. Perry, coming to you.
All right, we're gonna try this again. Let's take a deep breath. All right. Let's take a deep breath. First of all, one of the things that I see in the comments is Blue. And I'm looking at what Blue's saying, and it's like he studied throwing shots. And I get what you saying. I get what Blue's saying in terms of the competition. You and I have had this conversation all the time in terms of scheduling better competition. When you do that, and you bringing up the FAMU and the Mississippi Valley, right? That's fine if FAMU and Mississippi Valley play. Guess what? FAMU can't do nothing about that when it comes to scheduling, because Valley is the conference game. You got to roll with what comes on the schedule. All I'm simply saying is because I saw Blue saying something about Lincoln, and I saw Blue saying something about West Florida. Guess what? If I can get out of that game in Miami against Jackson State, I can now take maybe Lincoln or West Florida off that home, and now I can bring Jackson home to Tallahassee. It does not matter. And ask Blue, when he went to all of those media days, I watched all his work. When he went to those media days, who the hell was there at the rest of those PWI or FCS media days? There was no interest. Ask Blue all the FCS games that he attends outside of the SWAC games, and if he go to MEAC games, who at those games when he there? Him, the two bands or whatever the school, and a handful of fans. No matter what the programs are ranked, no matter who they have there, the interest is not there. They own fans not even interested if it is good football and they ranked in the top 25 or in the top 5 or the top 10. That's why none of those conferences have been able to beat the SWAC in total attendance, regardless if it's a classic, regardless if it's a home game. They don't have the formula. That's why they're low-key jealous about the Celebration Bowl. Regardless of the competition, at the end of the day, those schools want what we have. We have the eyes and we have the viewership. People on the FCS level, I know what you're saying because you're talking about football. But in the grand scheme of football, Scotty, don't nobody give a damn about FCS football, so you got to sell FCS football with something else. Black colleges have found a way to sell FCS football with something else. You know what that is? It's with the pageantry. It's with the bands. It's with the greets. It's with the tailgate. We've been able to create something that the white schools can't create. No matter how good their teams are, They can't create an atmosphere. Nobody's there. Nobody cares. Nobody's covering. That's why you cover HBCUs. If the SWAC competition was so trash, you wouldn't be covering us. You would be covering the Missouri Valley because you got North Dakota State and South Dakota State.
It was Dion. Let's keep it a buck. It was Dion. It was Dion.
All right. He brought a player, and then Dion brought you here, and he opened your eyes to where you thought it was just Dion. Then it opened your eyes to some other shit. You was like, damn, I didn't even know about Southern and Southern's band in football. And then you heard about the Powerhouse. Then you saw about FAMU. I didn't even know FAMU was doing down. Look, guess what? You're traveling. You going to HBCU campuses. You going to these different cities. You going to these classics, the Southern Heritage and the Bayou Classic. You're getting the idea to see we found a way to sell it because in the grand scheme of the world of football, FCS football, nobody cares. Nobody's watching the FCS playoffs, no matter if those are the best teams in FCS football, because in the scheme of football, it's getting overshadowed by Division I FBS.
Okay,
so that's what I'm saying. We can try to sell football all we want, but nobody cares about FCS football. Even if you number one in the nation, nobody cares.
I want to be very clear. If that is your argument, then on the same token, you cannot cry about not being drafted. If it's not, because that's what you said. You said it's not about football. It's about the package.
I said the fans, not the football players. The fans.
How is it not the? How are they not the same? Is it not part of the product?
I can't because the fans don't take football serious. I can't take away that those guys are still going out there playing their hearts out. I'm not negating that. I can't say that there's a diamond in the rough amongst the guys that's going out there doing it, regardless if the rest of the world sees it or not, because ain't nobody really watching FCS football. But I can't knock a guy for going out there giving his all and possibly getting an opportunity to get drafted.
Okay, so my thing is this, right? At the end of the day, if you're telling me that nobody cares about FCS football and this, that, and the third, but at the end of the day,
did you ever watch FCS football before Deion Sanders?
I didn't watch college football, period. I wasn't.
There we go. That even makes the point even better. You didn't even give a damn about college football, period.
Yeah, I didn't like college
let alone FCS.
Yeah, I didn't like college football. I was a pro football guy. I like the NFL. That's all I watched. I watched the NFL because it's just easier to keep track of people who transferred and moved and stuff. It's just too much turnover every year in college. I didn't like that. And now with the transfer portal, it's crazy. But my thing is this: at the end of the day, there still has to be a base level of caring about the football. Right? Even though, yes, I get it. I'll be on here and say, yes, I love the pageantry that HBCUs bring. I love all the energy and the fans. I mean, when we went to the Boombox Classic, it was different. I'll give you that. But at the essence of the basis of what I'm talking about, it still starts with the football.
And it does. So that's why we get up with the band when we score a touchdown. We're at least there. You just said you didn't watch college football at all. Most people probably wouldn't come to an HBCU football game because they don't know who the damn coach or the players are. But it's the pageantry that attracts them. North Dakota State can win 100 goddamn FCS championships and nobody knows the head coach. Nobody knows 5 players off their team. They've won how many championships, and we can't name 5 players from North Dakota State's team. And you think South Dakota State won. We can't name nobody off the South Dakota State team.
Time out. And you don't think that's the same way white people look at HBCU football?
It's the same way they look at their own FCS football. That's why ain't nobody at their games. That's why ain't nobody watching. That's why they don't have attendance records at those schools the same way you see at the SEC. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Does not matter with them.
Hold on. The argument that you just made, though, I'm just saying, like, it goes both ways. Nobody knows who's the head. Other than Hugh Jackson, there's a lot of people who don't know what Eric Dooley is. There's a lot of people who didn't know who Eddie Robb was. There's a lot, or he was coaching at Alabama State. There's a lot of people didn't know that Coach Wade or Coach Bubba. There's a lot of people that don't know these people coach the team. What's that? What argument is that?
We saying the same thing, and what I'm saying is it's the same thing of what I said before. Don't matter if it's at the HBCU or the PWIs. It's FCS football. We just found a way to get people to pay attention to us through culture. They have no culture that comes with it. They simply basing it off of football, and nobody cares about FCS football. That's why you don't see no primetime shows about FCS football. That's why you rarely see anybody say anything about FCS football. But guess what? They'll mention the SWAC, and you know why? They'll mention the SWAC because of the pageantry. We found a niche to get people to pay attention to us, and the rest of the FCS world does not have a niche. That's why they having to try to move up to FBS and sacrifice themselves just to be known or to be seen. It's not because they want to move up there to play for championships. They know damn well James Madison, Sam Houston, Jacksonville State, they know in the grand scheme of the big boys, they'll never play for a national championship. But guess what? They just want to be noticed. They not making no money on the level that they at. They not getting no fan engagement and crowd participation on the levels that they at. So they have to move up just for somebody to say, hey, I finally see you.
I'm confused.
We saw what happened.
I'm confused with all the fan participants. Okay. I don't want. Okay, I'm gonna let you finish your point because I don't want to go there because I know what the response is gonna be from the chat and everybody else. But go ahead, finish your points.
And that's the whole point of why I'm saying with FAMU, back to the original statement of why FAMU wants Jackson State at home, and I can't knock them for wanting it. It's cool to go play in the Classic. Everybody plays in the Classic every now and again. Don't mean I have to be obligated. At some point, I want home field advantage. At some point, I want to give my fans this experience with a premier team out of a conference that I moved to. FAMU moved. Let's make this clear. FAMU moved to the SWAC for a reason. The reason they moved was to get better quality games at home.
No, because
Jackson State for FAMU is a quality home game.
One, they're in the southern region, so they didn't want to travel up to Delaware State to play games. So it makes sense travel-wise to be in the SWAC because you're a southern-based team and everything is right there in front of you. So it does actually help. But it's funny, they just travel into Texas. They're traveling to Texas Southern, but they don't have to do that every single year. Right, so travel was the big aspect of it, and it just makes sense geography wise. You know what I'm saying? Geographical wise.
Yeah, because at least with those three teams, because think about it, the other big game with Bethune-Cookman is not a home game. So if you look at FAMU, they're going to get more out of having a Bama State, a Southern, and a Jackson State if they can do a home and at least have that home game in Tallahassee more. So what you going to get out of return with A&T leaving the MEAC? The closest team that you can get that can possibly that's in conference in the MEAC that can give you somewhat of a home game atmosphere will be South Carolina State. Howard not coming to Tallahassee.
Time out. The whole point is this, right? Because if we're getting, like you said, if we're going back to the original point is getting the JSU game sells more investing championship season ticket packages. And my original point is it shouldn't matter if that game is a home and home or not. You should be selling season ticket packages anyway. That is the original point of all of this. Fan, whatever, it doesn't matter because Alabama State is not going to bring the same draw as a Jackson State. We know that, but that doesn't matter because why? You should be selling season ticket packages anyway. So that is if we're going back to the original point, that is the original point that I was trying to make, that it does not matter if JSU was a home game or not. It matters that you were selling investment championship packets regardless if you had that game on the schedule or if not, because what about the year when you don't have Jackson State as a home game? What, you're not going to sell anymore? You're not going to sell any.
And I think FAMU has done a good job at that. When you look at home attendance records over the years, they've done a good job. Now, what you got a problem with her wanting to do more? I mean, they've always been in the top 25, top 20 of FCS home attendance. Now she wants to take the bar up more.
But you don't.
What's wrong with that?
This is the thing. Attendance does not equal season ticket package. They don't equal the same because not all your ticket people at the game have bought season ticket packages. So the premise is this: you're projecting that you will get more season tickets if Jackson State is a home game. There is no evidence to show that you will get more season ticket packages for a home game. My premise is this: if they did or if they did not, you should already be selling packages anyway.
And you also got to factor in FAMU has done stadium renovations. They getting a new board. They're going to bring a new type of game day to Bragg Memorial Stadium that she's selling. She wants to up that. If you're going to do all of these fix-ups and renovations to the stadium, you trying to welcome in some good games to the stadium.
You should
and yes,
be selling that anyway. It doesn't
she's
matter.
Doing that, FAMU.
It
Okay,
doesn't matter,
all right.
Perry. It doesn't matter. You should be selling that anyway. The video board.
You acting like FAMU wasn't doing that anyway, though. Is what I'm saying. The bar was already there. She's trying to go beyond the bar, and you acting like FAMU wasn't doing anything at all.
I'm not saying that. All I'm saying is at the end of the day, you should have been selling it. What? My premise is this: why do I have to give up $450,000? Take that off the table and say, you know what? I'm going to replace that money with my season ticket holders, right? Now,
I just renovated my stadium. Bro, I want to be at home.
But listen,
there's a reason you want to be at home.
Listen, that doesn't guarantee that you're going to get the money. That's what you're not understanding. That is my premise. Both are projections. There is no guarantee that you replace that money. There is no guarantee that you won't lose ticket season holders. There's no guarantee in any of this. The only guarantee to me is the 450. You get the 450, you can still sell a great home experience with the new Jumbotron, with all the new renovations, with all of that. Because you were going to have to sell it regardless. That's my point. You was going to have to sell it regardless. It does not matter if Jackson State was going to be okay. So next year, right? You don't do the OBC. Jackson State is not a home game. Don't you still have to sell season ticket packages?
Of course.
Okay, then. So it doesn't matter. It was going to have to get done regardless.
So why are you crying about them leaving a fucking Orange Blossom Classic? Is my point. It does not matter whether it's this year or next year. You crying about them leaving the Orange Blossom.
That's money that you just gave up that you could already have in your back pocket.
How long do you think they ought to stay for you? How long do you think they ought to stay dedicated to the Orange Blossom Classic? As long as they keep shelling out $450,000, go there every year.
I said they should have changed out the opponent. If you want Jackson State to be back into your home stadium, just change out the opponent. Just go to listen, at the end of the day, you're still going to do what you want to do. That's it. That's if and but you're going to do what you want to do. You pulled yourself out. But to give away $450K and just say, and you probably could have changed your opponent out, or Jackson State say, hey, we good with this. We don't want to do it no more. Or any of those things could have been a possibility. That's a question that I would have brought to Kendra at SWAC Media Day, right? I would have been like, yo, is there a possibility that you could have changed out Jackson State for somebody else? So fam, you could have had the home game. Because if that's their premise, work with them. If Kendra goes to, if Sykes goes to Kendra and say, hey, listen, we want Jackson State to be a home game. We don't want to play them in the OBC and mess up our season every year. Then work with them. If she says no, then okay, you do what you do. But at the end of the day, I know that conversation never happened. But anyway, okay, that's go ahead. I can't go no further than that. Can't go no further.
I love the conversation. This what makes your show great, bro. I promise you, this what makes your show great. Everybody's able to share opinions, and everybody's able to put it out there and have an argument that they try to back up. And that's why I like it, man. You know, it's always fun. You know, to each his own. I just say, at some point, come back home. Yeah, $450 on the table. That sounds good. How long you want me to stay dedicated to it? You want me to stay there, what, the next 10 years? Is that what you want?
I think JSU should have been dipped. That's why I felt like the opponent would have changed, because Jackson State is losing money. FAMU is making money. Their average regular season home game makes about $80 to $100K. If I'm paying you 3 times that amount, you are making money. Doesn't matter how you see it, you're making money. So Jackson State, to me, is the one that should be gone, because they're losing money being a part of this game. Now, if FAMU was in that boat, I would be like, yeah, hey, listen, fam, hey, just go ahead and leave. But it's really Jackson State. They make $800K on a regular game. That means playing That means playing Valley. That means playing UAPB. That means playing Texas Southern. They make that on a regular game. JSU is losing money. They should have been out this game.
Do the fans ever matter when you start to talk about the consistency of travel with a game like this in Miami? Does that get factored into it, do you believe? If I'm an AD, realizing I have a fan base that's going to probably be spending a lot of money down in Miami, and they may think twice of coming to one of my home games if they go into Miami? I'm asking, that's a legit question. We fair. Deal with that when fans get to picking and choosing games that they're going to go to.
That's fair.
If it's a game you know you're going to ball out, you may start thinking twice about those home games.
I agree. You know, and I said it earlier in the stream. Listen, I think you keep it fresh by changing up because I'm not going to lie to you. I didn't want to go to the OBC this year because I was like, it's the same old. But then when Willie Simmons was talking trash, I was like, hey, shit, I'm in there. You know what I'm saying? So that's what made it fun. I was like, I'm in there. Bet money. I'm in there. So, you know, I do think I think a refreshing, I think a renewing of a something else would have kept the OBC lively and for a new fan base to see a new team or whatever. But I think they should have worked that out with fam and said, hey, listen, you know, I'll work with you. We'll take JSU off the schedule and put an A&T or put a Hampton or put an NCCU or put, you know what I'm saying, or done something differently, put a Tennessee State in that. Like I would have tried to work it out, but, you know, to each his own.
And I think that's why you saw years of the Atlanta Football Classic probably working a lot more than what you see the resurgence of the Orange Blossom Classic. I think you could base it off of the amount of people that was HBCU supporters and FAMU backed and Tennessee backed and even Southern and FAMU played in Atlanta for the Atlanta Football Classic. I thought maybe that was a better spot. But, you know, you factor all that in. And I just thought about, you know, at the end of the day, as an AD, you start factoring in your fans having to travel early in the season. Does that then put them in a position to start saying, you know what, I'm a ball out in Miami, but the rest of them games, I may hit the Florida Classic, and that's about it. I may go to homecoming. And then you start counting out the rest of the games. And I think a lot of that factors in as well when you start to talk about the wear and tear of your fan base having to go up and down the road, especially in expensive places like Miami. And that's all. That's all.
All right, man. Appreciate the call, P.
All right, man.
3690, then you'll be my last caller, Mr. Bugs. Hey, 3690, you live.
Yeah. All right, Scott. This is Big John from Mississippi, man.
What's up, Big J?
You're absolutely correct. And the reason I say that is because you strategically said, I'm getting this game and you're going to give me the money, but I need to get Jackson State off their schedule and get Jackson State at home. And there's nothing wrong with asking you to come to the table to renegotiate that with me, because I go back to principle. We're in the SWAC, and based upon principle, we were supposed to be able to have the same experience every other team is having. And so the problem is not so much the Orange Blossom Classic. It is playing Jackson State in the Orange Blossom Classic, because we've done that 2 years straight, and we hadn't had a favorable outcome that we've been looking for. And so to make matters fair, if we need to schedule them and have that thing at home and then still make the money that we're looking for, and maybe then here we go with projections, maybe the team is on an upswing. So maybe that point that we lost by or the other game we got blown out by, maybe FAMU better down the line playing JSU. So it's all about, they're all jockeying for a position to have and to win the SWAC championship. And so once you have this what we call this make or break it game initially with Jackson State and FAM, then yes, it does hurt their home attendance, because now they're just playing for second best. And, you know, nobody really wants to support a second best team.
That's fair.
So I think everything that you said is valid to restructure and pull that game out, because they're looking at principle. We joined this conference for this reason, and now it feels like we're the doormat, because this one game is ruining our season, and it's ruining the attendance at our games just based off we know we're not really playing for anything. It's just like the other year when they played to just kind of make the for their fan base, they kind of just went the FCS playoff route, but we knew that was meaningless and it was purposeless. And because the HBCUs and we did say you did mention a diamond in the rough, and that's fine with the players, but collectively the HBCUs are fielding lesser talent. So yes, the other caller was right. The pageantry and the culture is what's selling everything. It's what's selling everything. So it's just like you have to make sure that you can maximize your potential and control your narrative of what you can control. And you are correct. Take the money and still double down and move them to the home schedule, but don't just break everything apart unless you're going to have a team or multiple teams coming in that are going to exceed or go beyond the projections that you've made dealing with the OBC. And the reason that you can't make it, and then to just add clarity to the matter, the reason that you can't really have a whole lot of wiggle room with the OBC is because the OBC is like a smaller LLC or a smaller third party of a major corporation. So to be honest, the stadium doesn't cost that much because they control, operate, and run it because they're using the OBC as a tax write-off. So that's how it comes down. So it's like it's not no disrespect to black or urban culture, but it's like, hey, yo, give the blacks, give the niggas a little money, and they'll come perform, and we'll see how well the promoter that we use can utilize this game to make money for the promoter. But we're gonna cut the check because it's a damn tax write-off. The problem is the Miamians or Floridians, they are overexposed to high level football between the University of Miami and between the Dolphins. So they're not as interested. The local community is not as interested in seeing a lesser conference or lesser quality or product on the field. That's why they need the Battle of the Bands. That's why the promoters are saying, let's do a parade. Let's do a Battle of the Bands. Let's see, can we get the local community out? But the local community is so divided by classism and by culturally that it doesn't have a lot of HBCU supporters that'll come and pack out the game. So unfortunately, when people like you and myself, when we attended the game, we see mostly our own home fan bases travel to make up the game. So it's kind of pointless for fans that are there because they're not really interested in it. So the schools end up, fans that follow the schools, we do end up, utilizing more dollars to come get that experience. And it's not really all going back to the school per se. But what you said about strategically moving one out and putting another one in makes perfect sense. Makes perfect sense. It's the ultimate balance because I take Jackson State off. I get the Jackson State experience. And look, projection wise, I even beat the OBC numbers. So where I would have got 450,000, I have brought Jackson State in. I've got with local hotels. I've got with restaurants. We booming in Tallahassee for that experience, and we doubled the number. Just say hypothetically, we doubled the number with Jackson State coming to town. So I got that. But on the back end,
you got to wrap it up.
Another team can play.
You got to wrap it up. You got to wrap it up.
Okay, yeah. So on the back end, I did what you said and put another team in place, and then I doubled my money. So I'm just saying both scenarios work. I see what you're saying, bro.
Hey, appreciate the call. That was a lot. I really don't even know where to start. Somebody just put him. I don't even know who's in my driveway right now. I'm sorry. I'm looking out the window. I can see my driveway. I'm like, I don't know this car. Why are you in my driveway? Hey, Mr. Buzz, coming to you.
Scotty, man, I had to call back here real fast, man, and ask this point real fast. Number one, great show. Here's my question. It seems like there's an argument of, I think you're saying football being really more focused on football and not just so much the pageantry. Would that be right?
Me personally, yes. You know what I'm saying? But you can't take the pageantry out of HBCU football. It wouldn't be HBCU football.
Of course. Now, I'm not decreasing the value of the pageantry. That's a part of the experience. But if my assumption is correct, when Dion was at JSU, what was the focus on at JSU? Football or the pageantry?
Oh, football. Definitely football. When Dion
so
was there.
if that's the case, did the dollars begin to flow because of the pageantry, not decreasing the value of the pageantry, or because of the focuses on the football competition?
It was because of Dion, but they were winning. It was, Dion, and then they were winning, so that helped. That helped a lot.
Yeah, they were winning, but I'm talking about before even Dion even coached the game. Money was flowing in from the get-go, am I right?
Yeah. I mean, because of Dion. It's Dion.
I know it's Dion, but what was Dion's focal point? Was it the pageantry alone, or was it football first?
It was football. It was football. It was football.
So, if that is the case, I can see your point of, hey guys, and let me know if what you're saying is you're saying there's so much focus on the pageantry, not decreasing the value of the pageantry, and there's less focus on the competition, the football. Am I right?
Yes, I agree, because people talk about the North Carolina A&T teams that beat FBS teams. Sure. People still talk about Bethune-Cookman's teams when they were running the MEAC and beating FBS teams. Like greatness personifies color. Like when you're great, when people know you're great and people can recognize how good and great you are, it doesn't matter if you're HBCU or FCS. You're just great. You know what I'm saying? But I don't think a lot of HBCU people care to be great. They just care to be HBCU good. I mean, that's how I feel about it.
And I'm rocking with you. I guess my thing is this here is we're always talking about how there's not enough revenue coming in for the HBCUs, right? And then all of a sudden you see a spike when Dion got there. And I'm talking about before Dion began to coach. Money began to flow. Yeah. And what you're saying is the focal point was on the competition of football, and the competition of football, since it was number one, brought in more revenue, which made the pageantry even more grander. Correct?
Yes.
So if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Why are we not saying, okay, wait a minute, if this worked when Dion was here, let's just go ahead and rinse and repeat that thing, man, so more revenue can actually come in. Let's schedule the more competitive games.
Well,
let's make it more focal point on, hey, making football even better. Because what I'm hearing a lot of the callers say, and if I'm wrong, correct me, there's more value in the pageantry versus the football bringing the pageantry. Is that correct?
Well, yeah, Perry's going to say that because the numbers show that HBCU gets eyes because of that. But I got to push back on what you're saying about Dion and football. Dion never scheduled anybody, right? Dion never scheduled. He never went out and beat that FBS team. He never went out and scheduled like big name guys that you was like A&T was beating lower level FBS teams, but Bethune-Cookman was beating FBS teams. Dion never did that. You know what I'm saying? So it's like a piece of it is like, yes, Dion cared about the football, but then a part of it is like Dion never really wanted to go play anybody. Like I wanted to see Dion go play somebody. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like really go out there and make that and get that one big win, but it never came about. So, I
agree with you. I agree with you on him not playing him. I'm not arguing that at all, period. My argument is coming from a dollars perspective. Is it a fact that better competition drives the dollars? Is that a fact?
I would say yes. HBCU fans would say no. I say yes. I think great football is always going to drive numbers and money. I believe in that. I don't think HBCU fans will say no.
But here's my question to the HBCU fans, to those who say no. How do you explain the NFL? How do you explain the NBA? How do you explain Ohio State? How do you explain the PWIs? The PWIs, yes, they make the culture grand, but it's because they have good football teams. Not saying that HBCU football teams are not good, but the focal point is on football teams. All right, when it comes to competition, am I right?
Yeah, I mean, it's so many variables, right? Because then you have people say FCS football is regional, so you can't expect you to be outside of. See, that's what made Jackson State so immortalized, is because Dion took it from a region to national. You took a regional brand and made it national, and then you add the Dion effect to it. It just makes it pandemonium, right? So Does any other coach in the SWAC have that ability? Absolutely not. How do you get that ability? By being great, right? So you need Willie Simmons to come out and be great. You need Hugh Jackson to come out and be great. Like if they go out there and are competitive against LSU, if they go out there and FAMU beats South Florida, like you need that type of impact to continue the impact of football, being a forefront and push towards, greatness.
Yeah, I agree with that as well. But I think it's my opinion, HBCU coaches can be some of the best coaches I think in the nation if they actually have the resources behind them to be able to recruit at the high level, which is so to speak. And what I'm saying is, and this is a person that what brought my eyes to HBCU was Dion. I didn't want to watch HBCU at all, period. Dion brought my eyes. Yeah. And I just said, oh, wait a minute. What is going on here? I've been missing this. So that's my whole thing is I agree with you, man. When it comes to football should be number one. And the pageantry should complement football. That was my whole point.
No, I agree. I absolutely agree. I think great football and that's the thing to me. I'm like, pageantry wise, there's nobody touching HBCUs. Football wise, I beg to differ. You know what I'm saying? So it's like if you can get, that's what Dion did. Dion brought the football to the level of pageantry, and there's you can't touch that. There's no program. There's no program that can touch that, right? Like even with North Dakota State's championships, and you can't touch the embodiment of what you get when you have good football with great pageantry, or great football with great pageantry. You can't touch that.
One last point, man, and I say this, man, as an example. Whenever Dion and the coach of Alabama A&M began going at it, brother, I said, oh, wait a minute. And then he made it into the song, Who Ain't Swag? I said, this is what I'm talking about right here. That brought national eyes even more to the HBCU scene because football was the focal point, and you actually had both big brand names, big brand coaching actually talking trash.
Yeah,
and that brought more eyes. Correct or not?
Correct, absolutely correct. Yeah, it does, and I'm always going to be on the bandwagon that SWAC coaches should talk a lot more trash. I'm always going to be on that bandwagon.
Oh heck yeah!
I think that should be kind of like the WWE, and we talked about that earlier in the year, just of having that WWE experience of SWAC coaches and stuff like that. But everybody wants to be the professional, button up, hey, one game at a time. So I get it. It is what it is.
Well, man, thanks so much for the time, man. A wonderful content as well, bro. Thanks so much.
Hey, appreciate it, Mr. B. So I don't know who this Edwin Moore is. He reminds me of the dude who does the weather in the on Good Morning America. I forgot his name, but he said something. He said, we aren't worried about them coming to us. We need to be in our own seats. My house is for my family. I mean, yeah, I get it. It just at some point in time, yeah, Al Roker. Yeah. Thank you, Miss Fly Grace. Yeah, I knew somebody's gonna come through for me. I get it, but at some point in time, you know what I'm saying, like you got to leave the nest. You know what I'm saying? Like you got to leave the nest, and sometimes you want to take on competition, man. Like there's not a coach. I don't believe there is not a coach or program in the SWAC that doesn't care about playing great football and playing great teams. And the fact of the matter is the players that are at these HBCUs want to play great teams to show what they are capable of doing. Now, just because some of you guys are getting out-coached, you know what I'm saying, or you don't have the talent level to compete against lower mid-level FCS programs, which is sad, you know what I'm saying, that's on you. But, I mean, at the end of the day, you should care about playing top-notch teams and wanting to play top-notch teams and challenging yourself to play top-notch teams. But back to the initial point of this whole conversation, right? And I'm going to say this and get up out of here. I didn't expect this to be 2.5 hours long. I don't know the last time I've done a 2.5 hour show, right? So Yeah, no. They're playing FBS opponents, which they have mostly no chance of beating. And then, I mean, yeah, you're playing FCS opponents and you're not winning. I mean, you're either playing them and not winning and getting curb stomped, drugged, beat down. You know what I'm saying? Shaking around. Was it what was it? Old gospel song like shaking up, turned around, cup runneth over, all type of stuff y'all getting done to. And in the car that was in my driveway, my wife ordered like the Instacart. I'm like, yo, you got a Warner Brother. People, I mean, that lady literally parked in the driveway. She had this big old SUV. I thought I thought it was gonna be like 5 Mexicans to jump out and try to rob the crib. You know what I'm saying? But yeah. So it's. I mean, all I'm saying is I would like to see SWAC schedules look more MEAC-ish. And I know it's hard to say that because you guys are required to play, I believe, 8 games or at least 8 to 9 SWAC games. But schedule some high-level FCS opponents. You don't have to keep, I mean, we know they got to do FBS because, I mean, damn, they got 6 people. But, you know what I'm saying? But schedule some high-level FCS. Schedule some low-level FBS opponents and put that competition. Because I'm being honest, A&M playing, I think they played Troy last year. That was a winnable game. All right. You know what I'm saying? That was a winnable game. So it was there for them to take it. Yeah, press down, shake it together, and run it and rise it over. All that. Yeah, all that. All right. So, but yeah, at the end of the day, man, I'm gonna say this. I believe FAMU should have stayed in the OBC, got the guaranteed check, right? got the guaranteed check, and then move forward accordingly. You know what I'm saying? But we'll see. Like Mr. Campbell said, we'll see how that works out in the long run for FAMU. See if they get what they said they're going to get. All right, listen, guys, I appreciate y'all time. Until next time, you know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna holler. You know what? I'm sorry. I gotta say this. I gotta get this off my chest. I'm sorry. It's really been bugging me. All right, and nobody's gonna make it this far. That's just how it works. What bothers me, right? What bothers me is this. People say stuff and then want to act like they Mother Teresa. Like, keep the same energy. That is what bothers me so much about Bamas who shoot shots and then they throw stones and then want to go hide their hand. No. Keep the same energy, right? You big and bad. I'm from this place. I'm from that place. You can't do this. You can't do that. Bet you won't see me. You got all that energy. And then when you get done up and set down, then you want to act like, oh, Mother Teresa. I read the Bible every night. This ain't really me. No, what? No, that wasn't the energy Now, how would I look? I'm supposed to be Captain Petty Sergeant Smoke. And every time I get on a phone call with somebody, I was just saying, eyes don't want no trouble. Eyes don't want no trouble now. I just go ahead. That's weak, man. That's weak. Keep that same energy. If you was wrong, just say you was wrong. Hey, listen, my bad, my fault. Hey, I came sideways. It is what it is. But don't be acting like I'm this big bag, tough bad guy, right? Oh, I did this and I don't want to go back there and I don't want to do this and I don't want to do that. And then you get embarrassed, right? You get embarrassed and then this is what it is. You know what? Listen, I'm on one today. I sent him the $5 Cash App. Put that in your pipe and smoke it. I sent him because you was talking big and bad, right? You Cash App me. You chicken shit. You this, you that. I sent you the $5 Cash App. You needed speech therapy. I sent that. I stand on mine. Ain't nothing over here. It's very simple. Very simple. I can't stand when people do that. It's the same thing with that kid from Alabama State, right? He started it. He at me. He at me on Twitter. I put him in his place, and then he want to make a show next day talking about, oh, I don't want to bring a black man down. I'm this, I'm that. I'm bigger than this. You weren't bigger than that when you called me out. That's the stuff that blows me. And everybody want to be in somebody's comment and chat talking about something. Oh, you stay with it. Stay with it. Oh, you better than this. No, you weren't better than it when you was speaking at your side of your mouth. When I didn't say nothing to you, you was all good then. So that stuff kills me. I'm sorry. It burns me up. I'd rather somebody just be man enough to just say, you know what? Hey, that was my bad. I shouldn't have took that shot. You know what I'm saying? I'm good. I ain't going to respond. I'm good. But that was on me. I will respect that 10 times more than you getting on camera acting like you're the freaking victim. You're not a victim. How are you a victim when you started it? Make that make sense. Jesus freaking Christ, man. That stuff kills me. And y'all fall for it. Oh, y'all eat it up. Y'all eat it up like spaghetti. Oh, he's such a nice guy. Oh, why did you talk about his speech? Oh, you shouldn't do that. No, he's a good guy. No, don't talk about his speech. He didn't think about his speech impediment when he was shooting shots. He didn't stutter when he was shooting shots. He didn't he didn't do none of that shit when he was shooting shots. But now all of a sudden, when I call you out, now it's, oh, Mother Teresa. Please save me. Oh my God, I'm a good person. I'm a really good person at heart. No, miss me with that. You know what I'm saying? That just bothers me, man. That just bothers me. I'm sorry, bro. Like, y'all, don't fall for that mess, bro. Don't fall for that. That just kills me. Because where was the energy? That's all I'm saying. Like, where was that energy? That's just my little 2 cents on that. I'm sorry. I just had to get that off my chest because I see it go around so much, and I'm like, yeah, what? No, absolutely not. Okay, absolutely not. I just got to, sometimes you just got to address stuff. And that's just, and I'm sorry. That's just, sometimes I just got to get this stuff off my chest because I gotta live with it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I gotta live with it. Like, I gotta go around and see this foolishness. And I'm like, yo, you know what I'm saying? Like, really? That's what we doing today? We doing this today? We acting like a victim today? When you were warned multiple times to keep my name out your mouth, you was warned multiple times, and this is what we doing? Okay. I'm sorry. That just bothers me. I'm sorry. That just bothers me. So, but yeah. So he didn't want to say it on his channel. I'll tell you on mine. I sent him the $5 Cash App. Speech therapy. Because you said if you big and bad, you'll donate or Cash App and tell me. That's what he said. Go watch the video. Go watch the video. You see what I'm saying? Like, don't say shit that you don't mean. You said Cash App me and tell me your problem. I Cash App you and told you the problem. So don't come around here talking about, oh, now I'm giving it away to a kid in need. You're in need. I didn't send it for no reason. You were in need. Man, I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, man. That just bothers me. That just bothers me. So I'm done talking about it. I promise you I'm done talking about it, but I'm just tired of people throwing rocks at me and then want to duck and hide. Like that's not it. That's not it. Because I got to put everything on wax, right? If I get on here and I say something, I got to put that on wax and I got to stand on that. That's why I don't go to SWAC Media Days, right? That's why I'm not invited to SWAC Media Days. That's why I'm not invited to certain places. That's why I can't go to certain institution schools. because the stuff that I say, I got to stand on that. So you out here just propaganda and whatever you want to say, you got to stand on that. So it just, come on, man. Come on, man. It just is what it is, man. So I'm done. I just had to get that off my chest. But for real this time, all right? Until next time, you know what I'm going to do. I'm going to holler. God bless.